hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. Legacy.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
This is Brock and Salk
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
on Seattle Sports.
We're going to accuse you of the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! All right, it's going to be a good Friday. Mike Lefko, Brock Ewert with you a little bit later. Maura's here. Justin's here. The sun's out. The sun is up, high in the sky. It's already out. Great day. Longest day of the year yesterday, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you're enjoying today as well because, you know, the longest day of the year was yesterday. That means today is the second longest day of the year. And it's a Friday.
Nice.
So have a lot of fun.
Nice, Lefko.
Yeah.
I see what you did.
I know. What did I do?
Some deductive logic. Yes,
Yeah.
it was the longest day, second longest.
It's natural, right? We don't do radio math a lot, but if the longest day of the year is one day, the day after it is the second longest day, and so is the day before it. So you got to stretch here. It's great weather, good time to be outside. If you're listening to us, we appreciate it. If you're driving, I discovered, if you're on a boat listening to us, we appreciate that as well. So it was Tuesday, one of these days, when I was here with you guys. Nice day, went out, got the old board out there, and I hear the distinctive sounds of Mariners baseball on the radio. On some kind of Tuesday. It was Tuesday or Wednesday? Yeah, Tuesday. So I'm, paddling by, guy's on his boat, listening to the Mariners broadcast, and I give him a little, knowing head nod. Hey, yeah, good stuff there. And then he looks back at me confused, and he has no idea why, because why would he know that I know that he's listening to our station? But I was appreciative of it. So if you are listening on a boat, driving, or if you get outside later this afternoon, thank you for that. But you know what happened? The longest day of the year also felt like the longest game of the year for the Mariners. Kind of deja vu-ish, because once again, we watched a good Guardians team really have their way with Luis Castillo.
Yeah, it was not fun.
That was tough to see.
It started off not that way, though. You kind of had a feeling of Demo back in Cleveland doing his thing.
Dylan Moore.
He's going to run with this.
Vengeance.
Castillo on the mound?
Yeah.
No.
Dylan Moore's endless crusade to just destroy the Guardians. It's continued. It started off in a great way, you're right. And then, in the exact situation. So more deja vu than, all right, we're going through this again, longest day of the year, blah, blah. The analogy still works. But it was deja vu from the first series against the Guardians early in the year, early in April, where you had won the first game and you have Castillo and Kirby lined up. And if there are any two coming into this year that you thought, hey, these are the guys you want out there, yeah, it's those two. And they showed it last weekend against the Rangers. But the Guardians had no issue. They knocked both of those two out of the game early. Similar situation where you have Luis Castillo in a game that if you win, it's a very successful series because the Guardians, you have to give them this. They are extremely good at home. And they have an incredibly talented team. They have the fewest home losses of any team in baseball. They're 23-9 now at home. So the Mariners got a notch. They got one of those games. But to see them have that success against Castillo, it was a little disheartening. It was a little disheartening to realize that there is a clear pecking order in the American League. John Morosi talked about this with us yesterday on Wyman and Bob after the game ended. It was still very fresh and very raw. We'll hear from Morosi again a little bit. We'll play some of those cuts. Gary Hill will join us to sum up the series at 6:30. Live guests at 6:30. You don't often get that. But Gary's in Miami, so he's been up and out and about for hours, I think.
I already had a Cuban sandwich.
Probably already had a Cuban sandwich, ran 10 miles, and now he's going to do some radio. So Gary will join us at 6:30. G. Scott will pop in at 8:30. We'll have a typical Friday. Actually, we're going to have a celebrity edition of Ranked. Has that ever been done before? Celebrity
guest
ranked?
ranks.
You've had guest ranked.
Shannon's been a celebrity guest rank. Bob has been a celebrity
Christmas
guest rank.
music.
So you've had people pop in. All right. All right. So
Aaron Mason. Yeah.
not as special as I thought, but this will be a special one.
This one is.
For me, it'll be special because I have never been part of a guest version of Ranked. So we're going to have someone pop in and do Ranked today. I think you all will enjoy that. 9:45 before we end the show. But yeah, it felt like This is a clear referendum on how good the Mariners are. It's almost like apply this to any aspect of your life. You think you're good at something, and you probably become skilled in whatever aspect of life that you're doing, whether it's the best athlete in a small town or you are very good at a job at a small company, and then you go and you meet a bunch of other people. Or if you grow up playing every single sport, all through elementary school, high school, you go off to college and realize, oh, there are a lot of people who are good and a lot of people much better than me. That was the Mariners.
Oh, yeah. Big fish, small pond syndrome.
Big fish, small pond.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what happened to the Mariners. They are good. They have dominated the AL West, and that's what you have to do to win a division. But you go out into the world, and with wide eyes, you see the Baltimore Orioles, who are now looking like the best team in baseball after they just crushed the Yankees. And then you see this Guardians team. You got a notch on them. You rallied one. You got one on them. And then the Guardians said, hey, you know what? All right. That was cute. Now we're just going to win. We're going to show you the full extent of what we can do. And they did that. And that was kind of what Scott Service summed up, that they got a good start, but then it was Cleveland showing the full force of what they can do.
Yeah, and obviously not the result we're looking for today. I thought, coming out of the chute, Luis, just trying to get into the game, flow of the game, command-wise. I really, after, they got the run in the first, the home run in the second. I thought he settled in there in third and fourth, and, the fifth inning ended up being a huge inning. You get 2 out, nobody on after, Garv has a caught stealing throw out at second base, and then they were able to put something together.
I will say one thing, Justin and Maura, and everyone listening. This is okay right now. At the end of the year, in the playoffs, you know what you have to do to be as good as the Guardians. But that's at the end of the year. A loss now, and it's another thing we'll get into when we talk about the trade deadline and what they have to do to improve. A loss now is not fatal. It just shows you where you need to get to. And that's why you have a deadline. And that's why you have a few more months of the season, because this, hopefully, is not the best version of this Mariners team. And now you clearly know that if you want to make noise in the postseason, you want to go deep into October, you have to get better, because a team has showed you clearly, both in your building and on the road, that this is what it takes. The Guardians have the third fewest losses in baseball. This is what it takes to get there. So in a strange way, long term, it's okay. I don't know if everyone else is feeling that way, because in the moment, we're all very reactionary. But I'm kind of looking at it, and maybe because this is the best time of year for me. It's fun, it's summer, it's all that. In a long-term way, this is could be a positive.
Your glass half full mentality. I appreciate it. As a fellow optimist, I do appreciate it. So let me try to sum this up here. It's positive because it's illuminating as to where the holes and gaps and shortfalls are.
It's a learning experience.
So it's positive as long as you think they're going to go out at the trade deadline.
Thank you. I was going to say the second part of that is just positive.
Yeah. Well,
if they address
we'll hear from here. Here's what the eternal optimist John Morosi said about that yesterday with us on Wyman and Bob.
They may not have the brand name swing and miss overpowering rotation that the Mariners have, but right now they're the more complete team. They're the more complete team than the Mariners. I think we saw that the last couple of days. And in some ways, I'm glad the Mariners had this experience of playing them at this stage, because we're starting to now see the ideas around the trade deadline coalesce for certain teams. The Mariners should now have a greater clarity of purpose of what they need to do before July 30th.
Okay, so JP hopefully said it better than I did. But you know how coaches talk about you learn more in a loss? We'll hear from the coaching guru, the guy who grew up as the son of a coach. Brock can tell us this as well a little bit later. You learn more in a loss because in a win, you can get away with mistakes or sloppy play. A win covers up everything. And it's tough to instill a message to a team when they've won. Because, oh, yeah, maybe we weren't fundamentally sound here. Maybe we had a mistake there, but winning fixes that. Or short-term disguises that. But in a loss, it's laid bare. And I think when you're outscored 14-3 in the final 2 games, that's certainly laid clear to the Mariners what has to be done.
Mm-hmm. Especially when your perceived ace, I guess, Castillo is on the mound for the final one.
Yeah,
he can't get it done himself. He can't cover up any error, any holes, or any mistakes, or any sloppy play, or any poor hitting. If you can't get that, then yeah, your point is proven.
So we'll wind it back to the optimistic viewpoint there in terms of a long-term solution, hopefully, for the Mariners, because it's going to be too nice of a day to be negative. It's a Friday. I don't often get to come in here with you guys on a Friday, Brock's here on a Friday. Wait, we're going to get excited. There's a lot to get excited about and a lot to talk about around this
Salk
Mariners
usually
team.
calls it Formal Friday, but you wore a backwards hat today, so I don't know.
Why Formal Friday?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't seem counterintuitive.
No, it became. It's because
the
he started
Friday.
talking about the app, and he called it the application, and then all of a sudden he's like, "We go formal on Fridays."
Classic Salk contrarian move. Everyone else, it's casual Friday,
yeah.
right?
Aloha
Salk
Friday.
would turn it Formal Friday. Okay, well, not Formal Friday. We're going backwards hat Friday here on this show in this edition of Brock and Salk. There is something unique that you need to know about. It's something that happens once a year, and it's happening tonight. And that's something you absolutely need to know about. We will get to that as we continue. Gary Hill will join me at 6:30 as well. Mike Lefko in with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Bump, we are smart, analytical people, you and I. We are not going to be idiots and buy into the hype, okay? But here's why the Mariners can win a World Series.
Weekdays, 10 to 2.
There is a path, there is a way with the way this team is constructed right now to get into the World Series, but you're not looking at that squad and saying, yeah, we straight. You're not looking at the way the Yankees do, the way the Dodgers do. You got to go ahead and make something happen, man.
Read up on the latest news and opinions at seattlesports.com.
Shop Macy's and save big with our lowest prices of the season. Like 40 to 60% off shoes, handbags, and accessories for any occasion. And bras, pajamas, and more essentials. And get your backyard ready for summer hosting with 20 to 60% off outdoor furniture you need now. Plus, download the app for even more lowest prices of the season today at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give MVPs Pro Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not an MVP's Pro Rewards member? Join today.
The Bike Riders roars into theaters.
You're in.
Top critics call it absolutely electric.
Fists and knives. I like you guys.
Like Goodfellas on Harley Davidson's.
What do you want me to do? Burn it down.
Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, and Tom Hardy.
This is what.
The Bike Riders, written and directed by Jeff Nichols. Rated R, under 17 on admitted without parent. Only in theaters today.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and smart home technology, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
I'm Chris Davis, former King County prosecutor and founder of the Davis Law Group in Seattle. If you've been injured in a crash caused by impaired or drunk drivers, there are special considerations that need to be taken to protect your legal rights. Davis Law Group's team of investigators and lawyers know how to properly investigate DUI crashes and identify all parties who might be legally responsible for your injuries and damages. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 or get my free book at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We blinked and 2024 is already halfway over. Pretty incredible. What's something that you've done this year you're proud of? Keep up the good work with a moment every week to hit pause, set intentions, and reset in therapy. BetterHelp offers affordable online therapy on a flexible schedule. Take a moment with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/like today to get 10% off your first month.
Something amazing is happening in education. Students are inspired and engaged. That's because school districts consulted with CDW, who designed modern classroom solutions with pre-configured HP devices, making learning more accessible, secure, and immersive. Now when students study topics like elephants, it feels like elephants are there with them. HP and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/HPPSG.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The tax attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
Bring your whole crew to the game with the Mariners Suite at T-Mobile Park. Whether you're planning a special birthday party for friends and family or a company outing for up to 400 coworkers, there's no better spot for an unforgettable experience. Enjoy the suite life with premium catering, VIP parking, private Skybridge entry, and more. Plus, season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve your suite today at mariners.com/suites.
And the pitch up the middle, JP! Wow! What a play! Game over!
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and if you're getting ready for a fun night out, you know Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go and have a good time. They got Adam Carolla coming up Saturday, July 13th. You know Adam Carolla, comedian, actor, radio personality, television host, author, currently hosts the Adam Carolla Show, the Guinness Book of World Records for most downloaded podcast. And beforehand, go to Falls Buffet, back open, serving all your favorites. It is Seattle's closest casino, only 30 minutes from downtown, and online at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Injury-wise, good news for both Brian Wu and Emerson Hancock. There was some confusion after Brian Wu's start a couple of nights ago. So Adam Jude of the Seattle Times got clarification from Wu yesterday because after his start, Wu said he didn't feel great physically, and there was some concern because he had just had a start skipped. He's dealt with those forearm issues. So Jude reported that Wu told him he was fine, went through his normal post-start throwing routine on the field, and then Adam, kind of in parentheses on his tweet, implied that he thought Brian was just kind of mad and was a little frustrated after his start, and all was good. So that's been cleared up. And then as for Emerson Hancock, he left his start early on Wednesday. Saw him kind of noticeably grimace and grab something toward his back right side. Mike Curto, the Tacoma Rainiers broadcaster, says that Rainiers acting manager Eric Ferris says it was just back stiffening up on Hancock. No reason for concern there. So, all right, good news. Breathe a little bit easier around Brian Wu and Emerson Hancock. As for the Mariners series this weekend, the Marlins are throwing 3 lefties. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 lefties going for the Marlins. So I will get into that a little bit more with Gary Hill coming up at 6:30. What you might see lineup-wise from this Mariners team. It is George Kirby today for the M's, Logan Gilbert, and then Bryce Miller for a 4:10, 1:10, and then 10:40 first pitch. Some strange times because they're on the East Coast, but pregame coverage gets underway at 3 o'clock right here on Seattle Sports.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
The Giants and the Cardinals played a game at Rickwood Field last night, the oldest pro ballpark in the country and the former home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. Now, Willie Mays was originally supposed to be honored at the game. He did play there for the Black Barons, but he sadly died a few days ago. His son, Michael, though, and Ken Griffey Jr. made sure the crowd was still able to honor Willie.
Birmingham, I've been telling y'all that if there's any way on earth my father could come down here, that he would. Well, he's found another way. So you already stand to your feet. Let him hear you. He's listening. Make all the noise you can.
Yeah, cool moment there. Cardinals won that one 6-5. Another cool moment, and Fox is getting pretty wide acclaim for this. They went old school, 1950s style telecast for the top of the 5th inning. So the entire half inning, the game was in black and white. I didn't see this live. Justin, you said you did. I was plenty of clips floating around social media. But yeah, it's that old-timey baseball broadcast feel. And while it's nice to have a very good picture, a lot of good technology, and all these modern innovations that make baseball viewing good.
Center field camera that didn't exist in the
That
50s
was
either.
that was nice to see for a little bit. A nice one-off utilized moment there by Fox. But yeah, there's a way we watch baseball now, and it's a lot better. But for a tiny little moment, that was a cool thing there. So a unique event. I think Fox handled that really well. A cool situation to honor Rickwood Field in Birmingham. Some other notable scores around baseball. The Astros got by the White Sox to win the series. They are now in second place. So they've moved in front of Texas, who was idle yesterday. They're 8 games behind the Mariners. And the Orioles, who are coming to town the start of July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here, they made an emphatic statement with a 17-5 road win over the Yankees. Baltimore hasn't lost in 22 straight against their division. 22 straight series they have not lost. Now, some of those have been 4-game series that they've split, but they have not lost in 22 straight series against the AL East. That's an MLB record.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
The Lakers have hired LeBron's podcast co-host J.J. Redick to a 4-year contract. Here's Adrian Wojnarowski with the details.
You could see them going outside of what we might consider the traditional box. College coach, an NBA former player who was working in TV who had never coached. They interviewed and talked with, a number of other candidates, but I think they ultimately saw the potential for upside that they thought was worth taking a little bit of a chance on. They see the high basketball IQ. They think he can communicate and reach players, but there's a lot more to coaching, practice plans, putting a staff together, managing a game. There's so much that goes into it. And when you haven't coached anywhere, no matter what kind of high-level mental player you were, no matter you're sitting courtside calling games, there's still going to be an adjustment.
Yeah, it's an interesting hire, to say the least. J.J. Redick played 15 years in the NBA. He is a well-known NBA analyst. He's on game broadcasts. He's a studio talking head. But you heard it there. He's never coached at any level. And now he's stepping into one of the most high-profile jobs in sports, let alone probably the most high-profile coaching job in the NBA, because you're in L.A., you're potentially dealing with LeBron, who seems like will stay now that he kind of had his say in the hire. So interesting choice there to hire J.J. Redick. And one more thing you need to know, and you can only know it today because it only happens today. The Midnight Sun game. Told you guys about this before we came on because it's something that everyone should learn about. So since 1960, the Alaska Gold Panners, a summer collegiate baseball team, they've played a game in Fairbanks that starts at midnight. And they've moved it up in the last few years. So it starts at 10:30. All right, not truly a Midnight Sun game, but they play through midnight. And they don't need lights because it is daylight until all hours of the morning. In fact, it's going to be sunlight until like 12:47 tomorrow morning in Fairbanks. That's awesome. And this year, so they're an independent college team now. So this year, Alaska is playing against the Seattle Studs. They got a local tie-in. I was not familiar with the Seattle Studs. I had to look them up.
I think they play at the Fish Sticks.
They're also like a semi-pro.
Team, like a PIL team.
So the Alaska Gold Panners used to be in the Alaska Baseball League, which is a college summer league. A lot of notable guys have played in there. Brian Wu spent a summer playing there. But just a cool, unique thing. And it only happens on June 21st. So here we are, June 21st. And if you're close to Fairbanks or you want to hightail on up there, you have until 10:30 tonight to get it. First pitch at 10:30. It's cool. That's what makes sports great. Just unique situations like this where an entire town and area rallies around something like that. And a truly special, unique moment. So that's just something that I had to bring up. And it's a fun little, hey, it happens today, so we'll talk about it. One more thing you got to know, too, and I know Brock was annoyed. I kept adding things. There's so much to talk about that you need to know. Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final is tonight. The Panthers lead that series 3-2. And then in the AHL, Coachella Valley dropped Game 4 last night 3-2 to Hershey. So the Calder Cup Final tied 2-2 in the series. I don't know if you're the Kraken, if you're like, all right, wrap this up. We need to get Dan Bilesma up here. Or if you want him and your AHL affiliate to just win this thing. But the draft is coming up next week. I feel like you kind of want this all wrapped up, and you want your head coach here actually coaching his team. So
it was that soon.
Yeah, next weekend it begins the NHL draft. I get it. Like a coach is not going to be as involved in the draft, especially a new one, as your front office. So that front office staff still intact for the Kraken. Just kind of a unique situation and strange that the head coach is still coaching another team but that's what the Kraken wanted. He's coaching all these young prospects. He has familiarity with the young guys and the Kraken, so we will see Dan Bylsma up here shortly whenever that Calder Cup, that best of 7 Calder Cup final wraps up. That is everything you need to know. We're going to talk about this Mariners series loss to the Guardians and then get a preview on what the Marlins can bring, including a couple names that the Mariners might be able to grab while down in Miami. Now, not literally. They're probably not going to trade for him now, but there are some interesting reliever options that Gary Hill will talk about with me when he joins me next here. Mike Lefko in with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports is your exclusive home for Mariners baseball. Every strikeout.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Bryce Miller, 7 scoreless today.
Every home run.
Get out the right, Brennan Mustard. It is Brad Salami time. A walk-off grand slam.
Every Mariners win.
And the Mariners win it in an amazing comeback here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Stream every game at seattlesports.com or on the Seattle Sports app. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for Window Nation, and this is such a busy time of year. School's ending up, and kids' sports have their big moments, vacations for a lot of folks. So if you missed out on Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you're in luck. They've extended it. Right now, you can get 50% off all window styles, plus 0% interest for 5 years, and an additional bonus if you schedule an appointment this week. Daryl, his local Window Nation team, was out at my house. You may hear some similar offers from other window companies, but I got to tell you, I trust Daryl and his team because Window Nation's professional installation teams have over 10 years of experience. They can install your new windows in just 1 day or less. And yes, they do use those customized windows by Milgard, which are made locally here in the Northwest for our climate. And yeah, weather impacts your windows, right? Especially the hot days, cold nights, which we get this time of year. That can cause cracking, seal failures, condensation. That's why Window Nation only uses top-of-the-line materials. Get a free, no-obligation quote now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule. That's 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar Wednesday, June 26th to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him Wednesday, June 26th for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, are you having a hard time dealing with high-interest credit card debt? It's normal, and a SoFi personal loan could help you save thousands by consolidating your DEBT to one low fixed monthly payment. You could get $5,000 to $100,000 as soon as the same day you sign, with no fees required. It only takes 60 seconds to view your rate, and it won't affect your credit score. View your rate at SoFi.com/paid off. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Terms and conditions at SoFi.com/paid off. NMLS 696891.
Let's hear it for the Clippers' new coach, Doc Rivers.
FX is clipped.
TMZ is about to put out a tape of our idiot owner and his girlfriend.
The scandalous story
What's on the tape?
of LA's other basketball team.
I'm Mr. Sterling's right-hand arm, his confidant, his silly rabbit.
FX is clipped. Now streaming only on Hulu.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is once again partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 3rd Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 12th, and the winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at woiseattle.org.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. I'm proud to let you know that nationwide, our clinics have a 4.7 out of 5-star rating on Google. This tells you that our patients are really seeing results. Here's what some of them are saying. The results are close to phenomenal. On top of that, the staff and the scheduling are top-notch, and my technician is a consummate professional. Another patient said, I called numerous clinics, and West Coast was by far the best. The other places wouldn't give me any information over the phone, but West Coast answered all of my questions. My wife and I were skeptical, but we've already noticed the difference. This was a game changer for us. West Coast Men's Health has helped thousands of men reverse their ED using acoustic wave therapy. No pills or shots necessary. Give us a call today so we can help you too.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here, and I want to introduce you to something that was new to me and probably new to a lot of homeowners out there, a metal roof. Now, the first thing I thought of, is it loud when it rains? I had no idea a metal roof was even an option until my most recent meeting with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing. And like Anthony usually does, he carefully explained a metal roof does not make noise when it rains, and metal roofs have a lifespan of about 40 years, double the traditional roof. Metal roofs are more eco-friendly and can be made in any color to match your home. Anthony also told me he's seeing a huge push in the market for metal roofing, and Asset Roofing is meeting the demand. They create each metal roof at their headquarters, custom to each job. That allows them to offer metal roofs with up to a 30% discount over their competitors. Reach out to Asset Roofing about a metal roof for your home. AssetRoofingCo.com. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mike Lefko with you here on a Friday morning. And yeah, normally we have a rewind, but figured why not? Why not at 6:30 on a Friday morning have a live interview? Well, luckily this man is on the East Coast, so it's a little bit later out there. Gary Hill Jr., the Mariners Radio Network, joins me now. Gary, good morning. Thanks for interrupting your run, your whatever you're doing, to talk Mariners baseball this morning.
Yeah, I'll interrupt each time for you. It's no problem.
I know.
I'll come on live anytime. 6:30, 9:30, whatever. Anything for you, Lefko.
Yeah,
Anything.
I was going to say, you don't have enough of doing these awkward tosses with me to begin post-game. So I figured, why not just, grab you early on the morning, talk 20 more minutes about the Mariners. But I will let you enjoy the beach. I want to hear about that as well at some point. I do want to talk about a big issue, Gary, something that came to light a couple days ago. And I was in the process of having a turkey sandwich. I put my favorite condiment on there, some nice mustard, and I thought, wow, I need to catch up with Gary to talk about the Mariners, but also about this mustard revelation. So you don't like mustard?
Wait, did you say your favorite condiment is mustard?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on.
What other condiment would you put on a sandwich that would really hit like mustard does?
I don't know. I just think mustard's overrated. That's all. And I have a hard time believing mustard's your favorite condiment.
I don't know what I'm going to do for the next 20 minutes, but this interview's over, Gary. So it was great. Got to let you go. We'll discuss that further at some other point. But, Gary, this Mariners team comes in, gets ready for a Marlins team after losing that series to the Guardians. This Guardians team's good. We know that. But when you look at how that series played out, do the Mariners have to think, hey, we have to find a way to not necessarily replicate the Guardians lineup, but find a way to get something similar to what this Cleveland team does?
I was thinking about the matchup with the Guardians, and I think the Mariners have had – I was thinking about them specifically. I was thinking about the Twins. When I look at the Mariners and their splits, and I look at the Cleveland series in Cleveland, I look at the Minnesota series in Minnesota, there's kind of this combo of teams that have a lot of lefties that make a lot of contact in their ballpark. That's kind of a very specific tree of things. Yeah. But Cleveland, to me, is similar in Minnesota in that regard. And I think Minnesota is not a great matchup for the Mariners because of all those lefty bats. And there's some of that going on with Cleveland. And, some of that, too, is Kwan right now is on a different planet. Like, he's batting over 500 since coming back with slug. That's not an empty batting average. He's just amazing right now. And Ramirez is really good. Like, their stars, their pillars of the offense really came through in that series. So would the Mariners like to have more of an offense like that? Yeah. But it's really three guys in particular with Cleveland that's holding that offense up. I think with the Mariners, it's interesting because they're so right-handed heavy with the rotation and with their bullpen. I mean, Saucedo right now is the lefty, essentially, for the Mariners. They are more susceptible. I wouldn't say susceptible because that's not fair because the rotation has been really good no matter who it is. But I feel like they're at their most susceptible. I guess I would say it that way. On the road against lots of lefties is how I think about it. And I think we saw that play out a little bit in the Cleveland series.
All right, so just don't face them on the road, get all those lefties out of there, simple formula. Luckily, they don't have to worry about facing Cleveland anytime soon, and if they meet again, it'll be good stakes in the postseason, so that would be a fun matchup to worry about later. But going back to yesterday specifically, Gary, Luis Castillo, 27 changeups, threw that as much as his four-seamer. Do you think that was just based on that Cleveland lineup because they are aggressive and they like to hit, or what did you make out of those pitch splits?
I thought it was interesting because we haven't seen that many changeups. A changeup used to be a really great pitch for him, a dominant pitch for him. He is more of a four-seam slider guy now, and mostly because his four-seam has been awesome and his slider has been awesome. And the changeup is still used but kind of faded to the background. And, you know, it's a lot of lefties in the lineup, and Castillo had some issues early in the season against lefties. They had a lot of pop against him, which you saw an elevated ERA in his, first four starts of the season. He basically put those woes behind him. It was interesting, too. He was matched up with Garver for the first time, so working with a new catcher for the first time. So maybe it was that combo had something to do with it as well. I think it was a lot of it to attack a lefty lineup. We saw it in particular with a couple of guys where he was throwing it a lot. We saw it, I think, 4 times in a plate appearance at one point. So I think it was partly that. I don't think we'll see that a lot moving forward, that number of changeups, just because we've seen the fastball slider be so good for him and so dominant. And, you know, it was a rough start for him yesterday. He had to work a lot, but you look at his last, including that one, his last 13 starts, his ERA still is essentially 2.5. So he's had a couple hiccups, but for the most part, it's been kind of amazing to see. He's essentially rolled out 6 innings, 2 runs every time out, except for a couple of starts. So overall, he's been great.
Hey, Gary, let's get into Mitch Garver a little bit more because, you did mention he caught Castillo. It was the first game of a non-George Kirby start that he's caught. And, it kind of joked, it's George Kirby's personal catcher. But is this now he's just kind of a normal backup whenever Cal needs a rest? Are you going to move him off Kirby? I guess because the lineup's not out yet because it's 9:30 out there. It's 6:30 over here. Kirby's starting. We don't know who's catching him. But would you expect Garver to now slide in as more of a true backup and not necessarily just when Kirby's starting?
Yes. I think that's going to have to be the case because – you don't want Cal routinely catching day games after night games, for example. And yesterday was the perfect example of that. It was a day game after a night game. And so you'd prefer Cal not to catch that game. So that means that Garver is going to have to catch who's ever pitching that day. And it happened to be Castillo. So with 3 catchers on the roster, they could place Garver wherever they wanted. Now it's a little bit different scenario where he's going to have to be a backup catcher. Scott Service talked about it too. Like he's going to have to get more familiar with all the bullpen pitchers as well. So, he's been in all the catchers meetings. He's caught a lot of them in spring training, but he's going to have to get more familiar with everybody, catching him for the first time in the regular season. So it's going to be something to watch and going to be something interesting. I am also curious to see if they'll continue to give the day after off for Garver. Like, will he have today off and then slide in as the DH tomorrow? Will Cal catch and be in the middle of the lineup and Garver out? So I'm curious as they continue to try and keep Garver healthy, because that's been an issue for Garver over the years, his health, particularly catching. And Garver has been a good bat for the Mariners the last couple of weeks. he's been the guy they were hoping to have. He's been a high on base, over 400, and he's had a lot of slug. He's had doubles and homers. So he's been an important bat. So at this point, he's the backup catcher and an important bat that you want to keep healthy. So the whole dynamic, I think, is going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
See, Gary, this is why I'm glad you're on, because I had a lot of curiosities and questions as well. So I could have just thrown them out there into the ether for no one to answer. But you're here, you're answering them for me, so I appreciate that. Gary Hill with us here on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Another guy that I'm still kind of waiting to see how he gets back into the fold, Jorge Polanco. And, he's playing rehab games. He is back in a lineup. And I know the timeline was a little uncertain, but it seems like it's soon or soon-ish. But when Polanco does come back, what do you think happens? Now someone else has to go back down. Who's the odd man out there?
Yeah, I think soonish is fair. I think when Polanco comes back, you have to give him runway and games to see if he can recapture who he was even last year or who he's been in the majors. He has been an accomplished hitter at the major league level. And so I think you have to give him the runway to be that guy again. And that means that Bliss isn't going to play as much, right? I mean, we've seen Dylan Moore playing a lot at second base anyway. And so I just think that's kind of the natural odd man out. I think Bliss has done some really good things, and it's no slight to him. Like defensively, I think he's been really good. He's shown some great range. I think he's been excellent there. He's been fun on the base paths. There's some things that he's done really well. I just think given Polanco's track record, get him back healthy, and, man, if he can be more of the guy that you were expecting, that would be pretty huge for this lineup. And especially with Garver hitting, you're hoping for Julio to get on a power binge, that sort of thing. Ty France has been better, obviously, before he got hurt. So there's a lot of things moving in the right direction, and getting some production at second base would certainly be a great thing. And I think you have to see if Polanco can be that.
Yeah. Gary, we saw Brian Wu make that start a couple nights ago. He's had the forearm issues. They had to skip his last start. And I know there was some confusion afterwards because maybe something was misheard and he said he didn't feel great. And then some thought didn't feel great physically. Sounds like that was cleared up. But how tricky is this situation with Brian Wu moving forward? Do you just kind of have to really manage that, knowing that this is a guy that has had some arm issues and you're going to have to be cautious with him like the rest of the season?
Yes. So Aaron and I were talking about this a lot a couple days ago, and the way I look at it is the Mariners are in a unique position to manage this situation, because when you look at the other four starters, it is rock solid. You essentially know what you're getting just about every time out, and it's lots of innings and very effective innings. And so you just know that you're going to have to be careful and manage the Wu situation for the rest of the season. And it's worth it. It's worth it because when he's healthy and pitching, he's great. And he has been awesome this year when he's been on the mound. So when you have that kind of upside, it's worth, going through what is going to be, I think, a tricky situation at times. And going in that he's not going to give you 100 pitches a game, and he's not going to go past 6 innings a game. Like, that stuff is built in, and he's going to have some games like yesterday. And it's the unfortunate part when he doesn't have a high pitch count, when he goes against a pesky Cleveland lineup where he's got to throw 30 pitches in an inning. Well, the writing's on the wall that he's just not going to give you a long start that day. And there's going to be days where he's going to get scratched. So that's just kind of the deal. But he's so good. And when you picture, what this could look like down the road and postseason and things like that, like, you want a healthy Brian Wu. So whatever you have to do to make that happen, you try and make happen. And fortunately, if you weren't getting innings in other spots, it would be a bigger problem, because then your bullpen could really get hung out to dry. Because what if you have a couple nights in a row like that? Fortunately, the Mariners don't really have to deal with that, because when Wu went short, the next day is Castillo. And I know Castillo's start wasn't long yesterday, but generally he's going to give you about 6 every time. So the bullpen should be in good shape, and it's worth it just because of how good he is.
Well, on those days where you do need the bullpen help, I know there are some reliever questions, especially not at full health in the bullpen just yet. Gabe Spire hasn't returned, still waiting on Santos. So when you look at some teams out there and, oh, hey, look at this. This Miami Marlins team is certainly one of them. Congrats to the Marlins. They have now descended to the very bottom of the National League. And I know you brought this up before you guys went on the road. If the Mariners are down there in Miami, they're going to get a good look at some relievers. Who are some guys that you would like to see potentially from Miami on this Mariners team?
Yes, we're picking off players from Miami. Boy, their fall happened fast, didn't it? I mean, this is a team that was in the postseason last year, and it has been a big struggle. So you allude to Miami and the relievers. They happen to have one of my favorite relievers in baseball, in Tanner Scott, who has been great. He's a lefty with really good stuff. He might walk a touch more guys than you would like, but he's just – his stuff is great. He's dominant. He is a free agent after this year, so it's hard to imagine that he won't get moved at the deadline. With relievers, I think – I don't know if easy is the right word to use, but I think is the easiest spot to fill just because there's so many options. And especially with the Mariners, I feel like we know this, they're really good at finding whatever dials help to turn and make a guy better. So I think there are a lot of different options and a lot of places to go. I think they could use some help, whether it's internally or externally along the way. But I will say that I really enjoy Tanner Scott, and I hope actually that we don't see him pitch in this 3-game series, because that means that the Marlins won't be leading. And we saw that was a conversation point, obviously, last series with Clase. He's the kind of guy where if you're trailing and he's in the game, you're probably going to lose, because that's the way things go. It's like on the flip side, when Munoz is in the game for the opposition, they're probably going to lose. So Tanner Scott is a guy that I really enjoy. I'd rather not see in these 3 games.
Well, Gary, if not Miami, then maybe when you go across the state to Tampa, and I don't know if I want this guy more for just sheer entertainment value, but how about Pete Fairbanks? He might be one of the most entertaining sound bites in baseball.
There's no question about that. And he's got real crazy eyes when he pitches, which is great. I mean, he's super intense. He throws hard. Yeah, all that stuff is there. I am super fascinated by what Tampa Bay is going to do here, because they've had a rough season, which is weird. It's not expected. They're under 500. But they have some really interesting guys, I think, both pitching-wise and offensively. And we always know their payroll situation. So, like, Rosarena has struggled this year, but he's heading to arbitration. Is that going to be a guy that gets moved at some point at the deadline? Yeah, what about some of those pitchers like Fairbanks? This is the big question to me, for me, as we get kind of in deadline conversation. You alluded to Miami being one of the teams out of it. There's only like 4 teams, I think, that are clearly like, okay, they're out of it and are going to sell. And the list of players that teams will want is probably not that long with those 4 teams. So the next question is, who else is going to drop out of the playoff race or feel like they're out of the playoff race and is going to sell? And is Tampa Bay one of those teams? Is Toronto one of those teams? I mean, to me, this is going to be the big question to determine what this trade deadline looks like. Like, how many sellers are there going to be? Like, the National League is so wild. Yeah. It is so up in the air. Literally everybody, except for, I think, the Rockies, are in the mix in the National League. The Nationals were holding down one of the wild card spots the other day. The Cardinals are back in the mix. Like, is anyone going to wave the white flag before the trade deadline? The Pirates are right there too. The New York Grimaces are making a run. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And if none of those teams sell, what does the deadline look like? Because there's not going to be a lot of players available if, like, the Reds and Giants and Cubs all declare that they're still in the race.
Yeah. 7 teams currently within a game and a half in the National League. It's only the Rockies and Marlins. How bad would you feel if you're the Rockies or Marlins? You're like, well, we're not in it, huh? Okay. Everyone else.
And the Marlins, a team that were actually in the postseason last year, and they're not close this year. Yeah, literally everybody else but those 2 teams have a legit shot to make the postseason. It is unbelievable. And it doesn't look like it's going to get cleared up anytime soon because you look at all those teams on an individual basis, and they all have flaws. There's none, I think, that you look at like, oh, yeah, that team and that team are going to run away with this thing. This literally could play out for the rest of the season like this. Who knows?
Chaos. Yeah, embrace it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch. Hopefully some teams start to fall off and then maybe more viable trade options emerge. But one more thing, Gary, before I let you go this morning, because I know you have beach things to do. I would want to go hit the beach too if I was in Miami. But for this actual series, you look at the Marlins and they're rolling out 3 lefty starters. And there's a lot of consternation sometimes amongst the fan base and, curiosity among me as well about these lefty-righty lineups the Mariners roll out. Mm-hmm. So with 3 lefty starters, does that mean, we're not going to see Luke Raley in any starting lineup this weekend?
I was thinking about that too because this is a very unusual situation. I can't remember a series where you get 3 lefties. And that's, they faced a lefty yesterday too. So that would be 4 straight against lefties. I feel like that we will see Raley in the starting lineup at some point. Raley's actually handled, compared to like Canzone, for example, he's handled lefties, I think, better. So I would not be surprised to see him in a starting lineup. But it is really weird to land on this with so many lefties in a row. And it's hard because, Raley, as the strong side of a platoon, is obviously he gets most of the starts in a platoon, and he's in the lineup nearly all the time. But, man, you don't want him to be down for 4 days in a row. I mean, he appears in the game. Like yesterday, he came on as a pinch hitter. So it's not like he's just sitting around and doing nothing and not taking at bats. But still, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the lineup at some point. But this whole thing is very odd.
It is.
The other odd part about the Marlins, and I guess it's where they are, is, man, do you remember who they had in the rotation just like a year ago? I mean, they were so filled with these live, young, great arms, and it's just a couple of Tommy Johns and some struggles, and, man, it just happened so fast with them. I mean, they traded Pablo Lopez because they thought they had so much rotation depth. And it's not working out for them at all this year.
It's going to be an interesting series, Gary. I appreciate you taking the time this morning. Not often. Well, first of all, not often that I wake up this early, and then not often that we have the pleasure of a live guest at 6:30. So this has been a lot of fun. Great talking to you, Gary.
Oh, yeah. Anytime. Thanks. Let's go.
Yeah, thanks. Enjoy the beach, and then enjoy the series as well. That is Gary Hill Jr. of the Mariners Radio Network. You hear him on pregame, chiming in with Picks versus Rick, with a bunch of other stuff on pregame and the roundtable. Starts off the little, pre-post game before Shannon takes over on post game, or Curtis or myself. And then he called a couple of those games with Rick at the end of this Cleveland series. So Gary does it all, except for eating mustard on his sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm with Gary. I don't think I believe you that that's your favorite condiment.
What other condiments do you
There's
have?
a lot of condiments. Obviously, mayonnaise is a big one that you're going to put on sandwiches.
Mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise, okay,
I mean,
whatever.
I bought Justin a bottle of
Mayonnaise?
Arby's horseradish for Christmas because he loves it so
These
much.
are not like normal things you're putting on sandwiches every day.
Sriracha.
Those are treats. Those are special
Do you
occasions.
use real mustard? Or are you talking like yellow mustard? Are you doing like Dijon mustards? What are we doing? Stone ground?
No,
You're doing yellow
mustard.
mustard.
Yeah,
I like a stone ground.
I like Dijon on a hot dog. That's good.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
I guess you should. Real mustard.
Mustard's very versatile. All right. I think to just disparage it like
mustards are
that.
good.
Yeah, it's great. Mayonnaise, no. Come on.
Fine.
With your love of
Miracle Whip,
with your love of pickles, I'm surprised you could handle a
I'm not a
condiment
mayonnaise fan.
like that.
I'm
that
not
just-
really a mayonnaise fan.
Okay.
If it's like from sandwiches, I'm not putting mustard above mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. All right. Well,
You like chicken or tuna salad?
nah.
People always say they don't like mayonnaise, but then they usually like
I don't really,
macaroni
actually.
salad or
Good point,
tuna
Maura.
salad.
Nah. Nah, I'm not really feeling that.
Deviled eggs. We're on deviled eggs.
Yeah, they're okay. Okay. Mayonnaise is all right. It's not mustard. It is not as superior as mustard. But outside of all that, some great info there from Gary. And I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later. I don't know if you can handle not having Luke Raley in there for 4 games in a row in the starting lineup because, it was Logan Allen yesterday and then 3 lefty starters. So an unusual situation awaits the Mariners against what is now the worst team in the National League. And that's saying something because the Rockies were terrible for all season long up until this point. The Marlins, a solid 25-49. So we don't have to preview that series much. Hopefully there's not a lot of chaos to talk about when Monday morning rolls around. We do have to recap what happened in this Cleveland series because there was a lot to unpack after the series loss. Brock will join me to talk about all of that. We'll catch up with G. Scott a little bit later as well. And a special celebrity edition of Ranked. Guest edition of Ranked, I should clarify. So all of that coming up here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The Dugout. Go in depth with the Mariners.
Goodbye, baseball.
With voices like Rick Riz, Aaron Goldsmith, and Dave Sims.
This is a club that has the ability to go on another run. You never know when a team is going to get hot.
This team's window is wide open.
Hear from the players and coaches and go behind the scenes with insider Shannon Dreyer.
We are seeing him comfortable with where he is at the plate. We're seeing a guy that has his timing.
The Dugout. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. on Seattle Sports.
In the world of finance, having a strong foundation of traditional practices combined with emerging trends can make all the difference in your career. WGU's Bachelor of Finance degree is a technology-forward program designed with input from industry experts. That means the skills you gain at WGU are the skills valued by top employers. Whether you dreamed of working for a wealth management firm or bank in Seattle, this online degree program sets you up with a solid foundation. Learn more at wgu.edu/Seattle.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Are you tired of losing weight just to see it all come back again? Summer is around the corner and you want to look and feel like yourself again, but getting back on that frustrating weight loss roller coaster is the last thing you want to do. You've heard about the new drugs but are concerned with the possible side effects, or you're taking weight loss drugs but also want to learn how to change your lifestyle for long-lasting results. At Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, we know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle strategies. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Yeah, one of the great things about the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic program for me was the lack of hunger. That's how I got into the problem to begin with, as I was eating too much, and I thought that would be the case as I was losing weight. No. Delicious recipes that keep you full.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-522-5070 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Give me a freaking arrow! This is Brock and Salk.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
On Seattle Sports.
We're going to excuse you from the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Well, hello. I can tell it's already going to be a good morning based on the brief interaction I just had with you, Brock. We don't have to talk about
Fridays are loose and fast.
Fridays
Let's
are loose.
go.
You know what?
Loose
it's not
and
formal
fast.
Friday. It's casual Friday. I don't know what some people are thinking on this show. It's fun. We're gonna have fun on a Friday, Brock. Despite a Mariners series loss, I told Justin and Maura yesterday was the longest day of the year. So you got some sunshine, got outside. Today is the second longest day of the year. So hopefully everyone's having some fun wherever you're listening, whatever your plans are today. If you want to stay inside, that's great. If you want to go outside and listen to us on a boat, out on the water, you're on a hike, do whatever. We're going to have some fun today, Brock.
Yeah, I think they could have played the LPGA there until about midnight at Sahali. At least kind of looked that way. You know, you usually watch these golf tournaments and they kind of wind down by 6 or 7. Oh, no problem whatsoever, man. It was a glorious, glorious day yesterday, at least in the Pacific Northwest. Maybe not on the shores of, is it Lake Erie that Cleveland is on?
The mistake by the lake, as they affectionately call it. Well, they don't, but other people do.
Not a good matchup. Lefko, these guys are just not a good matchup. You played them 6 times now. They've beaten you in both of the series. And, you know, when you won those games, you felt like, ooh, I'm glad that one just didn't continue the other night because Cleveland was starting to build some kind of momentum and you were able to close them out, thankfully, and get one there in Cleveland. But just from a matchup perspective, their great strength, they put the ball in play. They hit. They got an edge. They run. They attack you. And your greatest strength, your pitching, is a little bit neutralized by their great strength. And then their weakness, their starting pitching, you can't quite take advantage of because that's not the strength of this lineup consistently. In bursts and individually, sure. But collectively, you see the difference between a collective lengthened lineup like the Guardians, and it really exposes, unfortunately, what your offense collectively is not. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say Luis Castillo is so usually overpowering in his fastball. So dominant. In fact, since arriving on the Mariners in 2022, he has generated the most whiffs in that time period in baseball. This year, he's 8th in whiffs. The Guardians took 49 swings on him, Brock. They just missed 8 times.
On the fastball or on all of his pitches?
On all of his pitches. On 49 pitches they swung at, they only missed 8 times. That's tough. That's tough to deal with.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it just kind of reestablishes that, hey, the Mariners are a tier below these best teams in the American League. Certainly the Orioles, who beat you in the first series, and they're coming back. You get a chance at them here early July. And then definitely the Guardians right now. A Guardians team that you laid it all out there. They've beaten you now twice in these two series. The offense has been overpowering in these final two wins. And yesterday, Brock, John Morosi said to us on Wyman and Bob, it kind of establishes a pretty clear pecking order for the Mariners in the American League.
They're a good team that will be dangerous in the postseason, but they are not an elite team on the level of the Yankees and the Orioles, or as we found this week, perhaps the Guardians as well. So I would put them in the second tier of the good to very good teams that will eventually be in the postseason, but they have their flaws.
Those kind of came to light again.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of tend to agree that it's a good thing that you're matching up with these teams before the trade deadline. It's a really nice thing that over the course of the second half that you play one of, at least on paper, one of the easier schedules. A lot of teams with losing records and everything else. That's a good thing. But when it comes to the postseason and when it comes to addressing your team, and I think Jerry and Justin know very clearly what some of those flaws are, it's not a bad reminder to be exposed to them by a team like Cleveland, by a team like Baltimore, like a team like New York. I was chatting with Benetti yesterday, the voice of the Detroit Tigers. You guys were not in school together, were you?
No, he's a little bit older.
He's a little bit older?
Yeah.
And I was saying, geez, what is going on in Cleveland? And he said Stephen Vogt is able to pull more strings from a lineup flexibility than anybody in baseball. That he just has the tools at his disposal, and that's kind of the way that he is wired as well, is already showing you a tremendous manager. And I think if the season ends today, I think Stephen Vogt is the manager of the year in baseball. Everybody else who's supposed to be good is good. The Guardians were not supposed to be this good, and they're playing at that level. And you saw it yesterday. You know, like just lefty after lefty after lefty after lefty after lefty. And I'm sure Luis like, goodness gracious, can I see a right-hander? And then when he does, that guy does some damage, unfortunately, too. So, yeah, just a difficult matchup, a tough team. I agree with Morosi. Kind of shows you what a lot of us that watch this team religiously every day already know. There's a couple flaws. And in particular, your lineup doesn't feel like their lineup.
Yeah, I made the comparison, Brock, earlier with Maura and Justin, that it's like that big fish in a small pond. Or, maybe you didn't have this experience, but some of us lesser athletes did. If you were pretty good growing up, maybe when you were younger, and then you get to high school, and you get a little full of yourself, think you're good at a sport, and then you go to a level where you finally realize, no, these are the good ones. These are the elite. So what I'm doing is fine in this little small area where I can dominate the other, 5'3" players trying to play basketball in a tiny little town or something. Then you go out into the world and you go and you see the AL East and you see the Guardians and you realize if you're the Mariners, oh, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. You get there. And luckily, hey, that's the better thing about a baseball team rather than us who are not blessed with freakishly tall ability to grow 6 feet plus or have insane athleticism.
Yeah, Molly and I chuckle about that a little bit because
you laugh at the lesser athletes. Yeah,
no, not that way. No, we do not. Absolutely not. No, on these different sports teams that all of our kids have been on, right? Those families that have maybe never played sports, or their parents that hadn't really played beyond junior high, and it's like they think little Betsy and little Johnny are like the greatest thing ever. And then you go out of state and you go play the kids down from Louisiana and Georgia, or like this weekend, we'll go play in a perfect game tournament in California. And honest to God, there's a former NFL guy, 14-year-old, whose son throws 92 miles an hour at 14. Whew. Yeah. And then you realize like, maybe we're really not that good. Maybe there are a lot of and the Mariners, listen, they really are that good. They pitch really that good to give themselves a chance each and every game. They gave themselves a chance yesterday. They were ahead in that game. But Cleveland just showed you from again, I come back to matchups, right? Whether it's the NBA, whether it's the Seahawks versus McVay, the Seahawks versus Shanahan over the last few, there's just some matchups that are going to be tremendously challenging and difficult. And Cleveland is that kind of matchup. So as you approach this trade deadline over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I know you got a bunch of sound for me. I know Morosi talked about it again at length yesterday with a few different names. Yeah, this comes down to, well, we've got to add. We've got to add at least one. Who knows? Maybe even two. Maybe even there's just some pieces to add. The foundation is built. Now we got to add a little bit of furniture to compete with the best of the best.
Yeah, I think it does help crystallize a picture of what you have to do to beat these teams specifically, because you were mentioning matchups. That doesn't really matter until the postseason, when you boil it down to a series where it's just your team against their team. Everyone's on full rest. Nothing else matters. There's no games in front of it. There are no games that were behind you that you have to recover from. So it's just this team.
Your people versus their people.
Your people versus their people, and their people, those Guardians, showed you exactly what they're going to do. And now the Mariners, they have a couple months. They can game plan. They figure out a way. When they get to the playoffs, 9-game division lead, if you hold on to that, you get to the playoffs, you win the division, and you focus on, we might face a Baltimore Orioles team or a Cleveland Guardians team, and we have to get through them.
Yeah, they don't pitch the way that Scott and Jerry would build a team to pitch. They just don't. But as far as everything else that Scott Service talks about is a leader of a clubhouse and leader of a team, of pressurizing your opponent, keeping them on edge, being on attack mode, right? Just bringing the game to you. Man, Cleveland does that relentlessly every single inning. And, unfortunately found a way to beat these Mariners, beat Luis yesterday, and the M's will regroup and head down to South Beach. They're actually today.
Yeah, we will talk about that. That's an interesting matchup because of the Marlins about to roll out 3 lefty starters, so we can get into that. But, Brock, I'm fairly confident that I'm about to tell you something up next that you don't know, that you might not have ever heard of.
Whoa.
So something brand new for you to learn.
Wow.
And everyone else will hear that as well. It's what you need to know coming up next. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The Dugout. Go in depth with the Mariners.
Leaps up and he makes the catch.
With voices like Ryan Roland Smith, Gary Hill, and Mike Blowers.
Long-term pitching, if you have that foundation, good things are going to happen. It makes him so valuable when he's hitting.
This team is a team that's going to have to bunch hits together, put pressure on the defense.
Hear from the players and coaches, and go behind the scenes with insider Shannon Dreyer.
They find a way to grind it out, stay in the game. I thought it was a really good win for them.
The Dugout, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. on Seattle Sports.
Are you ready for a road trip? I know I am, because it's time for the Harnish Auto Family Road Trip Sales Event. Hey, Brock Heward here. And this month, the Harnish Auto Family is offering a chance to win a $500 road trip package from Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Simply test drive any vehicle and enter for your chance to win. No purchase necessary. Plus, well, you'll get an additional entry when you trade in or sell your vehicle. And that's not all. If you service your vehicle during the event, you'll automatically be entered into a giveaway for a Solo stove. Perfect for those cozy nights under the stars. It's all happening right now. Just stop by your favorite dealership, Volkswagen of Puyallup, Subaru of Puyallup, Kia of Everett, Chevrolet Buick GMC of Puyallup, or Chevrolet of Everett. Take a test drive for your chance to win a $500 outdoor prize package from Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Visit harnishautofamily.com for the hometown hookup on all the new models and over 300 used cars and trucks. Tell them Brock sent you. harnishautofamily.com. People matter. See dealership for details.
Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. In the past 5 years, we've seen thousands of men at our clinics. Most guys tell us the same story, that in their early 50s, it's not that they couldn't function, they just needed help. They started taking Viagra, and it worked great at first. But after a few years, it stopped working. The problem is that their arteries had become more restricted since they started taking it, because Viagra does not unclog arteries. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we use acoustic wave therapy to target the real problem. We break down plaque and clear up the arteries so blood can flow like it did in your 20s. This restores function. And guys, listen to this. You won't have to take a pill anymore. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Looking for the best synthetic turf in the Northwest? At Synthetic Turf Northwest, we resell our premium line of Northwest Pro natural products to both businesses and consumers. From industry-leading supplies to expert advice, we have everything you need to complete your installation, whether it's for your customers or your own DIY project. Call us today and discover why we're the Northwest's trusted source for quality synthetic turf. Get started with Synthetic Turf Northwest and elevate your outdoor space. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com. 425-788-0718.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop! Swiffer Power Mop!
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Player Spotlight.
Give props to Jerry and Justin. They did a great job bringing in these good group of guys.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
What do thousands of students that rely on free school lunches do during the summer? It's G. Scott here. Sunbucks is a SNAP program that provides free, healthy food when school is out. If you could use the help, simply fill out the form online to determine eligibility for $120 of free food per child. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to match their produce purchases as well as shop online. Learn more at hungerfreewashington.org/summer EBT.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Experience firsthand the innovative spirit and vibrant culture of Washington at the Washington Brewers Festival. 2 days of tasty food and beverages paired with great entertainment. The Washington Brewers Festival is June 22nd and 23rd at Seattle Center. Learn more and get tickets now at WashingtonBrewersGuild.org. That's WashingtonBrewersGuild.org. Use promo code Seattle Sports for 10% off. The Washington Brewers Festival. Join in for this incredible Washington tradition.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, there's some good news injury-wise, Brock, when it comes to both Brian Wu and Emerson Hancock. I don't know how much you saw about this post-start confusion. There was some Wu uncertainty about whether he said he wasn't feeling great physically or just he wasn't feeling great out there on the mound because it was a frustrating outing. But Adam Jude clarified. He tracked him down yesterday morning and said that Wu told him he was fine and that Brian Wu went through his normal post-start throwing routine on the field. So that's some good news there about Brian Wu, because certainly he's going to be important to them moving forward when you have these 5 starters that you rely so much on.
And then Emerson Hancock as well.
He left to start early on Wednesday, but Rainier's broadcaster Mike Curto says acting manager Eric Ferris told him it was just the back stiffening up on Hancock.
I could see that. As I was saying yesterday to Brady, we're told very clearly, never speculate about injuries. It's not your job to speculate about injuries. But I could kind of tell he was back boy. As a guy that's, had a back that's tightened up a time or 1,000, especially after mowing the lawn and pulling weeds and doing all that. Yeah, you could definitely see he reached for his back. And as Adam Jude said, with Mr. Wu, I think it was just frustration. Because he just wants to be a part of this. To be shut down a couple times, to have to come back, and he just wants to do what the other 4 have done. Right, to kind of show off his tools and show off what he is capable of doing, because as you know, Carpenter's only as good as his tools, and Wu's got some tools, and he wants to show those off on the regular. Unfortunately, he's not been able to, and then when he had the outing, that really good Cleveland lineup, again, took advantage of him as well.
I don't know if we've definitively confirmed that, but some would agree with you. This series, the Marlins are throwing 3 lefties, so we can discuss that a little bit more later in the show, but it does mean you might see the lineup you saw yesterday a couple more times. Gary Hill mentioned to me earlier that doesn't think Luke Raley will be out of the starting lineup every single game, but it's that right-handed hitting lineup that you'll probably see a lot this weekend. George Kirby does get the ball for the Mariners today, a 4:10 first pitch.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Brock, your guys at Fox did a good job with this. The Giants and Cardinals played a game at Rickwood Field last night, the oldest pro ballpark in the country, the former home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. Fox put on a terrific broadcast. They had that inning that we were talking about, top of the fifth inning.
Yes.
Black and white. Went old school, went 1950s TV style to honor what it was like back then.
I actually flipped over live at that moment.
You saw the black and white game?
I was like, yes.
Oh.
It's like, this is really cool. I thought well, can they do the whole game in this way?
I like that.
Yeah, it'd have been probably a bit much for that inning. It was truly extraordinary. And for some reason, on my old black and white TV in Puyallup, I remember watching the old home run derby. I think it was Harmon Killebrew. And they had that same just view of the pitcher and the hitter. And my eye got used to seeing that a lot. The stats were amazing. The production was off the charts phenomenal. How they were able to do that, the ingenuity, just kudos, absolute kudos to Fox. Smoltz and Joe crushing it in the booth as well, to all the amazing guests. Heck, to Reggie Jackson that set the table, in pregame with 3 minutes of the most raw, real, in-your-face, blatant racism that they overcame down there in those Negro Leagues, and he battled through. Just from beginning to end. One of those that everybody wakes up from Fox this morning, flies out of Birmingham, and says, "Yeah, man, I'm proud of what we put on there tonight."
And then Willie Mays was originally supposed to be honored, so sadly, he died a few days ago, could not be there. But his son Michael made sure that the crowd was still able to honor Willie Mays.
Birmingham, I've been telling y'all that if there's any way on earth my father could come down here, that he would. Well, he's found another way. So you already stand to your feet. Let him hear you. He's listening. Make all the noise you can.
Yeah, quite a scene down there.
Cool,
Cardinals did win that one 6-5 in the actual game, but there was so much beyond the game that took place on the field.
And I couldn't believe it. I've been to Birmingham a lot over the last 3 years, the home of the three-time Spring Kings, as you know, the Birmingham Stallions. So I've driven by that field, and I'm like, wow, that is it looked like the old Soto back in the day. It looked like just a kind of a dump site. And, man, did they absolutely put that thing back together. It looked awesome. It looked authentic. And as I said, from beginning to end, something that the other company I work for should be very, very proud of.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, Brock, the Lakers have hired a guy that has never been a head coach. They're going with J.J. Redick, known as an NBA player for 15 years. Also, currently LeBron James's co-host on a podcast. And now he has a 4-year deal to be the head coach of the Lakers.
You like it?
No, not at all. This is going to be a circus. He's never coached. Come on, as a guy
John
who
Lynch
knows
was
coaching,
never a general manager.
But general manager different than
Steve
coaching.
Kerr had never
X's
been.
and O's,
Steve Kerr had never been a
dealing
head
with
coach.
professional salaries and egos, and
Sure.
a guy like LeBron James that now he's your friend. You have to coach him. You have to try to have
you said
some
this about Jeff
semblance of-
Saturday too, so we'll see.
And yeah, the Jeff Saturday thing that worked, right?
No, Jeff was a debacle, but there's good and there's bad. Like Steve Kerr came out of the booth as well, and I think we can all agree that he had to handle some different egos there, and obviously a lot more collective talent and young talent than an aging guy that's going to, that's going to be the most difficult part about it. Just the conundrum relationally with LeBron that, let's face it, LeBron runs the Lakers.
Yeah.
You should just rename them the LeBron Lakers.
He should. I know.
Yes.
Brock, one more thing.
Is this what I haven't? Is this what I don't know?
I think you don't know this. Have you heard of the Midnight Sun game?
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. Played up there in Alaska, right?
Wow, look at that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressive,
knew.
right?
Dang it, Lefko.
Alaska Gold Panner. I'm impressed. Good knowledge there, Brock. Alaska Gold Panners, they've been doing it since 1960, summer collegiate baseball team. You know who they're playing tonight?
I don't know who they're playing tonight.
The Seattle Studs.
Yes, I should have known
Yeah,
that.
I know. See there, I got you. You didn't know something. But no, this is cool. I told Justin and more. I like the unique sports traditions. They do this every year today on June 21st. Used to start at midnight. Now they're starting at 10:30 because it's daylight till about 50 a.m. tomorrow morning in Alaska. So a unique thing that we need more of in sports.
Yeah, for a few of our listeners, part of the reason I think I know that is I'd heard of it before, but B, when I go fishing up in Sitka, one of the cool things right across from the fishing grounds is Sitka High School. And what do they have? A really nice field turf baseball field. And I'm like, that is really cool. That must be really fun. I think it even looks out to the ocean from a distance. So, yeah, they like their baseball for the few months they get a chance to play it up in Alaska.
You know, I had forgotten about your proclivity to visit Alaska. I should have known. Should have known. You're a part-time Alaskan.
I'm a journeyman, man.
You
I've seen it all from Birmingham to Sitka, really, in back-to-back. I think in back-to-back weeks. I made the
That
very
would be
convenient,
a heck of a flight.
Yeah, the very convenient Sitka to Birmingham. It was really cool.
Very convenient. All right. That is everything you need to know. Brock, we do have to get into some trade deadline discussion because that Cleveland series crystallized that the Mariners need to do more to keep up with the best teams in the American League and the best teams around baseball. They want to have a deep run in this postseason. So we'll talk about potential options for the Mariners. That's coming up next. Mike Lefko and Brock Huard with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Get the national perspective on the Mariners.
Swing and a miss and a slider, strike three.
With Jeff Passan, Tuesday mornings at 8:30.
I don't think that it is unrealistic to believe that they have the talent and the ability to win a championship with this team.
And John Morosi, Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Their DNA remains intact. This is a rotation-dependent team.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and if you're getting ready for a fun night out, you know Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go and have a good time. They got Adam Carolla coming up Saturday, July 13th. You know Adam Carolla, comedian, actor, radio personality, television host, author, currently hosts the Adam Carolla Show, the Guinness Book of World Records for most downloaded podcast. And beforehand, go to Falls Buffet, back open, serving all your favorites. It is Seattle's closest casino, only 30 minutes from downtown and online at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino.
The Bike Riders roars into theaters.
You're in.
Top critics call it absolutely electric.
Fists and knives. I like you guys.
Like Goodfellas on Harley Davidsons.
What do you want me to do? Burn it down.
Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, and Tom Hardy.
This is what?
The Bike Riders. Written and directed by Jeff Nichols. Rated R. Under 17 on admitted without parent. Only in theaters today.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Kick off summer by checking out the incredible showroom at Toyota of Kirkland. With a wide selection of Camrys on the lot, including the brand new 2025 Hybrid Camry, along with the new inventory of Tundras and Tacomas. All with a lifetime powertrain warranty, you're in for a summer to remember. The unbeatable team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive, and you can take that car home the same day. Get your summer groove on at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com. Simply Seattle, presenting sponsor of the Brock and Salk Show, is your one-stop shop for all things Seattle sports. Official All-Star Game hats are on sale today. Vote for your favorite first-place Mariner and rock the same hats they will. Rep the green and gold all summer long with the Bring 'em Back Sonics shop. Plus, all Storm gear is 20% off today through Sunday. Also, official Seahawks training camp gear from New Era. Use code SeattleSports15 for 15% off every order. Go to simplyseattle.com.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacey Rost here. Seattle Sports is once again partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 3rd Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 12th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and summer in Western Washington, it means trips to the beach, summer barbecues, golfing, that vacation maybe you've been looking forward to. When you take pictures this summer, don't you want to look and feel your best? Well, Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help, and trust me, you can do it fast. I lost 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks. I lost 35 pounds overall after 8 weeks. There is time. What are you waiting for? Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consultation right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Here's what to expect. Safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss. No exercise, no pills, no injections or surgery. Eat real food, lose weight, look and feel your very best. That feeling is just on the other end of your 15-minute consultation. What's the secret? Call Eastside Weight Loss Clinic and they'll tell you. 425-588-0080 is the phone number, or go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. It worked for me, and I promise if you do it, it can work for you as well. eastsideweightlossclinic.com or 425-588-0080.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary. Miller Lite has your chance to win a Miller Lite varsity-style jacket. Just log on to MillerLite.com/Bigfoot, where you can chat with Bigfoot, uncover tales of the Northwest, and enter to win a Miller Lite varsity-style jacket. Head to MillerLite.com/Bigfoot. No purchase necessary. Starts 4/9/2024, ends 8/30/2024. Residents of Alaska, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, 21+. Official rules at MillerLite.com/Bigfoot for free entry method, odds, and restrictions. Molson Coors Beverage Company, USA, LLC, 250 South Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois, USA, 60606.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is Brock and Salk
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We're rocking a casual Friday here. Brock and Salk. Mike Lefko, Brock here with you. Gonna get entertaining at 8:30. I've been warned in person by G. Scott. Brock will join us here to discuss everything.
Just be ready.
I guess everything.
Just gird your loins.
It's coming in hot.
Yeah. Just gird, as the Graz would tell you, gird your loins because it's coming. Yeah. I don't even know what that means, but be ready to go. So
okay, that's what we got coming up, and then we also have a special guest edition of Ranked at 9:45. So we will end in fine fashion that way, and the week in fine fashion before the Mariners take on the Marlins. It's a Marlins team that might be a potential trade partner, Brock, because they're one of only two that are not good in the National League. There are 7 teams that are within a game and a half in the NL wildcard. That's chaos. That's not good because it's such a finite supply now of people that are available. So the Marlins, potentially a trade partner, and then another team that you were mentioning, a couple guys on this team, and John Morosi mentioned it as well, a team that the Mariners will see at the start of next week. The Tampa Bay Rays might be a good partner for the Mariners.
Pay very close attention to the team that right now is 4th in the American League East, which is a frequent trading partner of the Seattle Mariners over time, and that is the Tampa Bay Rays. Yandy Diaz, Isaac Paredes, Randy Arozarena, especially Yandy Diaz, a pure bat-to-ball guy who I think could be available if the Rays stay in that 4th place position or 5th place position. The Rays are the potential seller that I'm watching most carefully as a possible fit for the Mariners, and I think that is where the Mariners are going to focus a lot of their deadline efforts between now and July 30th. Can they get some better contact hitting at almost any position on the diamond? That is their task number 1, 2, and probably 3 for Jerry Dipoto and Justin Hollander.
Did I share that with you the other day? I'm trying to remember.
About the Rays?
Yes.
And Isaac Paredes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of how Morosi rolls his R's.
Yeah. Do you remember the Larry Hills-ism that I used that day?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, come on.
You throw so many
No,
things out
I
there.
don't. There's really 2 Larry Hills-isms that I really throw out there. One of them is life's about trade-offs. And the other one was the line that I used in particular of doing business with the Rays. Come on.
Never do business with the Rays?
Every once in a while, write these things down. Like when I was your age, when I was a young and up-and-comer, I would write these things down, and then I would kind of use them as my own. And, write this thing down. People do business with people they enjoy doing business with. Larry was a great businessman. And obviously, Jerry enjoys doing business with the folks in Tampa. It's been a reciprocal relationship. Both have benefited from it. And that is the Tampa Bay Ray DNA. That's how they operate. They don't have big salaries. They don't have big budget. They know exactly how they've got to build this thing, and they're going to be a little cyclical in that way. And right now, in this cycle, they're significantly down to the Yankees and to the Orioles, and the Orioles who have rebuilt with younger people and blown by them. So they have got to figure out a way. Now, this is where I'm a little torn because that all sounds great. And then you've actually got to sell some of your young pieces. And I don't know about you, but I was looking at old Montez last night with his 72nd RBI sitting with Scott Boras and Jerry DiPoto down there in Modesto. Well, I wasn't. I wish I was. That would have been a fun conversation to listen to. I look at what Felny and Celestine is. Justin Amore and I don't know if you guys got to see him when you were down there doing the afternoon show in Peoria. Did you see that kid?
Yeah, we saw all of them. They were impressive.
He's a monster. I mean, he is, and I know it was one little snippet that Salk had heard from one person in the organization, but it's a snippet that sticks with you when they say that from a raw talent standpoint, he may have more raw talent than Julio.
Yeah, but you're not parting with him. That's the thing. You
For Paredes?
You have a glut of middle infielders.
For Paredes?
Yeah, you're not parting with him. The Tampa Bay Rays, who want to trade, this is not a Luis Robert. This is not a top-of-the-market guy. We'll get into a trade proposal that would have the Mariners parting with someone who's not Celestin. But this is why you built up that farm system again. It's so impressive what the Mariners did because they had all their pitchers graduate. They had no one. These top draft picks, the 3 first-round picks they had because of Julio winning Rookie of the Year and the compensatory pick, they have rebuilt the middle infield, and now you have Colt Emerson, Cole Young, Michael Arroyo, Ty Pete, and Celestin, all middle infielders.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that the Rays wouldn't take a Cole Young or Colt Emerson?
Don't know.
I think they would.
The way they operate, they typically
need a
like
shortstop.
the really, really young ones that they could have.
These are young
for
guys.
6 years. I guess those guys are all very young. You're right. And if it's Cole Young, for some reason, I don't know, I feel a little bit better, and then Cole Young becomes a great little Tampa Bay Ray, and you're like, darn it. But that's what this lineup needs right now. They need an infusion of it. I'll give you one more. Okay, you asked me something I didn't really know. I didn't throw this on you, so this is going to be a little challenge for you.
Oh, uh-oh.
Yep, I want you to try to think of the player, and it is a player that you know really well. It's not a rando player. It's not an unfamiliar name. It is a name you know, Lefko, really, really well. This is the player that I want them to trade for, because this is the impact they need. You watch that Cleveland series, you watch the Baltimore series, you watch the Yankee series, those teams that you're looking up to in the division, you know what they have in their lineup? Impact. An Aaron Judge, a Stanton, a Soto, just an impact. A Gunnar Henderson and a Rutschman, just an impact. A Kwan and a Ramirez, just an impact. Here's an impact guy that is available. You ready? In 2023, dude had an OPS of 129, OPS plus of 129. OPS of 818. He slugged 485, and he hit 32 bombs. In 2022, an OPS plus of 147, an 853 OPS. He slugged 509, and he hit 28 bombs.
He slugged 509?
He slugged 509 in 2022.
That's not good, though.
A slugging of 509? And an OPS of 853, a slugging of 509 is really good, because this year he's slugging 353. So, you can have him. This year he's on pace for 15 home runs. This year he's got an OPS of 667 and an OPS plus under 100. So I gave you the first 2 years.
Is there a...
Yeah, American League.
Yeah.
American League West.
Kyle Tucker?
Close, but no. Plays for the Mariners. He actually plays for your Seattle Mariners.
Wait, you're talking about a guy they want to trade for?
Nope.
Where have you gone with this?
I want a guy that I want. I want Julio Rodriguez.
Julio back.
I want Julio back.
Okay.
I know. I played a little game on you. I'm sorry, Mike. I know your mind was racing a lot of places.
You need Julio in addition to the people you're going to trade for.
Honestly, the biggest impact you can make. Let me say this very declaratively.
I don't like the parameters of that game, bro.
I'm sorry. That's a left-handed middle child. I'm sorry, instigating. But let me make this.
No left goes by the book, bro.
I know he is, but every once in a while, and in 45 minutes, if he thought that was rough, wait till G comes in here in the tornado. All I'm doing was getting you ready for that. Yes. Get to the basement. This is getting to the basement because the tornado's coming in 45 minutes.
On your toes.
Let me say this very declaratively. There is not a player that the Mariners can trade for that can make a bigger impact on this team than the one that already is there. The one that, as I said, slugged .509 and hit 28 bombs as a rookie. A guy who slugged .485 and hit 32 bombs is a 21-year-old. Okay, that is the guy that they need. You want impact? You need Julio Rodriguez to not be slugging .353 right now. 150 points less than he did a year ago. 170 points less than he did as a rookie. You want impact. You want to feel a lineup or make that opponent feel you like a Ramirez did yesterday. And by the way, to me, the key at bat of that game was Jose Ramirez 10-pitch at bat. You know, he just started to work Luis in a way, and after that, you know, yeah, they hit a couple homers early, but that to me was turning point. And Ramirez is an absolute pest and a nuisance to deal with. That has been Julio in 22 and Julio in 23, and they need Julio to be that around the corner here for the final, what are we looking at, 77 games, the final 85 games? You need that kind of impact from Julio Rodriguez.
So Julio and who? Because
honestly,
Julio
I think Paredes
Julio,
yes, I think Paredes
is just the minimum.
Correct. I think Paredes is the guy that I lean into. I know that you like the other name. Was it Morosi that brought up? No, it was the other cat you had on the show yesterday that brought up the Colorado Rocky.
No, this is Jim Bowden, right? That's a trade proposal idea.
Oh,
that Mora sent an article that he has 5 trade proposals that he likes. So we can get into that. But I think let's get back to your point about the prospects, because you seem hesitant to part with some of them.
Yes.
Why? Because if you look at the Luis Castillo trade, that is undeniably a success for the Mariners. And the guys that they traded, what have they done for the Reds?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Only Noelvi Marte has made the majors, and he is currently about to end an 80-game suspension. Edwin Arroyo has not cracked.
Mm-hmm.
Levi Stout, the Mariners got back, and then they let him go.
Yep.
And Andrew Moore, I'm sure he's somewhere. But that's who they traded, and everyone is all up in arms because you traded your 2 best shortstop prospects.
Mm-hmm.
They have rebuilt and then some.
Yep.
You don't trade. You have to trade. You have to trade prospects. You can't just hoard them and never do anything with them. It's fun. It's great because of the potential, but prospects are there to be maneuvered and dealt and utilized as weapons.
Yep. That I totally understand. I totally get it. And this is just some of my just at times risk aversion, but I get it. And you have to do it. You just have to make sure you move, as they did in that Castillo deal, the right one.
Yeah. Well,
you just got to make sure that old Montez, who looks like, honestly, a young Alvarez, doesn't become a future Alvarez. And if only Celestine, if he indeed has more raw talent than Julio, that you don't move on from that guy. Now, a Cole Young, who may have a certain ceiling, or some of these other guys that you just believe don't have a ceiling that goes all the way to the penthouse, then great. Then you know a little bit more than everybody else knows about them.
Well, Brock, let me give you the trade then in this proposal that I think might be palatable because it doesn't involve any of those guys. And this is how loaded the Mariners are in the middle infield. So Jim Bowden's trade proposal, the Mariners send Emerson Hancock and Michael Arroyo to the Rockies for Ryan McMahon. Third baseman primarily, but he plays all over the infield, plays second, plays first. Here's what I like. Under team control through 2027. He's still getting paid a good chunk. He signed a deal, so he's going to get $12 million this year, $16 in 2026, and $16 or $12 million in 2025, $16 in 26, and $16 million in 2027. But if you're only giving up those two guys that aren't even on the big league roster, how do you not do something like that?
Well, I think with an Emerson, that's going to be that's easy to say, but then in premise, Wu all of a sudden flares up an elbow again, then what? Then we're back to Jonathan Diaz. Then we're back to Dallas Keuchel. Then we're going to make a pennant chase, and we're going to chase down, and hopefully host that game, which, feels a little distant now with Cleveland winning this series. But, you feel good about that. You feel good about moving on from your insurance policy that, paid some pretty good dividends when he was up. I love not giving up some of the price. And this is a game. I totally get it. And you got me right on the spot, which is awesome. This is a game that you play. In order to get something of value, you have to give of value. In this trade deadline, you're going to have to give of value because it is going to be very, very contested, right? There's not going to be a ton of volume, a ton of teams, because as you said, everybody in the NL is in it. So it's not as if you're going to have as many players, and that can usually drive up the market and drive up the prices. So I totally understand it, and I totally get it. And that is where you do have to trust a Justin and a Jerry to know their people infinitely more than anybody else knows them.
Yeah, and I'm not saying specifically this will be the trade, these two, but it's something similar perhaps along the lines. And this is just one proposal that one guy threw out there. But if you want to look at that specifically and say, yeah, you like to have all the depth and you like having all these arms, what could be good is if you're thinking, does this move put you over the top in a potential postseason series with the amount of rest that's built in a best-of-7 series?
Yeah.
It is not like a normal every single day. You're playing the 2 games in one location. You get a day off. You go on the road. You play a couple more. You get another day off.
Yep.
You can line up 3 to 4 starters for an entire series.
You sure can.
And you take the first 3, all of a sudden in the best of 5, you don't even need to go past your top 3 starters.
And you could put a Wu or a Miller in the bullpen where their stuff one time through a lineup may be utterly unhittable, as it often is. So, nope, I totally get it, totally understand it. They do need impact. Goldie said that before the season. That's the one thing that just continues to resonate. When you do play these top-tier teams, the very best teams, you feel the impact of that lineup. You feel the impact of their stars and their difference makers. It is why I will say it again. The biggest impact on this team could be Julio getting back to being the power guy that Julio is. Right? You do not want a Julio that hits 14 home runs. You do not need a Julio that slugs 353. He's doing everything else for you. He's playing with tremendous joy and tremendous speed, and his average is actually one of the better on the team. But as far as impact goes, you really do need your young superstar to warm up at some point. We've seen it in the microwave, right? We've seen it for a series. We've seen it for a weekend. But we really need to see it on the front burner for these Seattle Mariners.
It would be nice, especially if that's a Julio in the playoffs that can take over, that can single-handedly almost help you offensively win a series. I go back to Luis Robert and what he did against the Mariners in that short 4-game sample size where he was hitting a home run every night.
Yeah.
And the impact he had, just one guy in a miserable lineup around him. He's that good.
Yes.
Think about Julio doing that in this lineup.
Yeah, and just the positive on that note, like if you're going to look at the positive of 22 and 23, remember, in that stretch and in those seasons, it was a month that really propelled those numbers. It was a month of August of 23 that absolutely took those numbers from one level to the big-time level. It was late June and through July and into that All-Star game of 22 where Julio went from, struggling in his first couple months as a rookie to becoming an absolute superstar. So that month is coming. Let's hope that month is really, really soon.
All right, a lot of good baseball talk to get back to. We will continue on with, we're going to talk about whatever, as you've informed me, Brock, at 8:30 with G. Scott. But right now, let's get to Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Saul.
Okay. Before question number 1.
I would say I asked you the questions.
Since I put you on the spot, or I didn't play by the rules. Let me just confess one other thing. I didn't play by the rules.
I think you just rambled on too much. It was fine.
I side texted. I side texted G.
You side texted G.
Yeah.
For your own individual topics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for you.
That's fine.
For
Lefko, he's trying to sabotage early Lefko. I'd be careful.
Yeah, it's fine.
I side texted him and said, "Hey,
coming in backwards.
Did you see this thing? Hey, did you see this thing?" And he was like, already on it. I think he did a little clap emoji too. So yeah, just buckle up, Lefko. If you thought I twisted you in circles and in knots with that whole Julio game that I played, you just get ready for G. So sorry, question 1.
Do you want to just ask yourself the questions? Do you even need me for this segment?
I need you.
Okay. Brock, what was your favorite attribute that Devin Witherspoon brings to the McDonald matchup zone?
Ooh, man. Just listening to Baldy. Gosh, Baldy was so good with us earlier in the week. He's so good on his Baldy breakdown. So love it every time Baldy joins the morning show. And I hope, it's not going to be just a one-off, that we can do it a whole bunch more over this football season ahead, because he loves Mike McDonald. He's connected in the Northeast. He knows the ins and outs of what they love to do. And, the more time we've spent on Spoon this week and watching all these things, I love the violence. Pound for pound. I'm going to give you a little return on investment in Gino here in just a second. Pound for pound. I don't think there's a harder hitter in the NFL than Devin Witherspoon. Now, on one level, and I remember Salky saying this when they took him number 5, like, that's great at Illinois, that's great in the Big Ten, that's great playing 12 games. You got to play 17 and hopefully 18 and hopefully 19 and 20. And can that body sustain? And I pointed to, the other guy that pound for pound was the most violent physical dude in the league for a long time, Earl Thomas. And Earl Thomas found a way to pick and choose his spots. And when he was absolutely going to uncoil and cut the legs out and cut the knees off and knock Gronk into another planet, Devin Witherspoon's got that tool in his bag. He's got that club he can play out at Sahali, and I love it.
All right, number 2. Brock, you mentioned Geno Smith. Where is Geno? Clearly a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Return on investment. Brady and I were talking about this yesterday. Did you guys, you talked about it on your afternoon show. Lefko, by the way, I want you to know, friend to friend, I may, have a little fun with you. I read every one of your show rundowns.
Wow.
Every day. Every day when you send it out, I do. I read every one of them. So I saw yesterday that Bob and Dave talked about, some of this scuttlebutt of do owners need to, I think it was a Pelissaro report, right? Do owners need to put a new lever in? Does there need to be a new safeguard? Do they need to find a way to cap these quarterback salaries? And I found that to be buffoonery, and Brady and I talked a lot about it. And then we kind of got into, the Geno Smith. So here's some numbers for you. Geno Smith, return on investment. The number 1 in the league is Brock Purdy. There's no question about it. He's going to make $1 million next year. Right? I mean, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the 7th round, salary the last few years, they've been absolutely able to take advantage of. I think return on investment, dollar for dollar, Brock Purdy. Jordan Love at $12 million is up there. Tua at $23 million before he gets paid. Heck, Russell Wilson next year at $1.2 million for the Steelers. Probably number 2 on that list for the possibility of being it. But right there is Geno. Geno's going to make about $25 million next year. And when you stack that up to his peers with his productivity, with his late game touchdowns, with his QB rating, with his efficiency, with his completion percentage, just his raw productivity, man, it is far better than Trevor Lawrence, far better than Daniel Jones, far better than a lot of these guys who are making $40 to $50 million a year. That return on investment is where Geno truly is arguably a top 5 QB in this league.
Yeah, real quick, what do you think about do you think there's going to be a cap at some point? Just not a set one, but artificially that teams will not be willing to pay quarterbacks beyond a certain amount? Or is this going to keep going? Like there is
because
no
I think
limit.
I honestly think it's one of those areas that's great to discuss, but this is actually one of the areas that creates in a league that does everything to create the National League. Everything to create parity. This is the one thing that can just, okay, you want to do that? You want to put 35% of your cap into the court? Good for you. And that guy, struggles, you're going to absolutely stink. So it is a way, I think, to create a lack of parity. And so I don't mind it at all. That is on you. That is on the acumen of your people. That is on the organizational structure you have. That is on the decisions that you make that really make this game go on and off the field.
Good luck, Jags. All right, number 3.
You're not Trevor Lawrence guy, huh?
He's raw talent, sure, but is he $55 million a year worth it? That's the issue. That's what Tom Pelissero was saying, kind of in that cut about guys are getting paid just because they're the next man up. Yep. So it is that risk that you run.
Then don't
pay him. Pay your guy.
Then don't pay him.
Or you're restarting. But
then don't pay him. Then restart it.
Cost of doing business. It's good to be a quarterback.
Yes.
You found that out. I should have learned. I should have been a big, tall quarterback in another life. All right, Brock, number 3. Who will be the Seahawks' highest-ranked player on the NFL Network's top 100 this year?
DK?
Is it not Devin Witherspoon?
It's either Spoon or DK. But, man, remember this for a lot of years, actually preceding some of your years here, Lefko. Like in the 13, 14, 15, 16. It was like Seahawks. Cam, Earl, Richard, Bobby, KJ, right? Like, and then we would argue, like, oh, you're not giving some of the other guys their due. And Michael Bennett's a top 100 player. Like, it's crazy. Russ, Marshawn. It's going to be a little different story this year. It's going to be a little. I don't think you're going to have one in the top 50. Are you going to have one in the top 60, top 70, top 80?
Yeah, now I'm trying to look back to.
I think there's just honestly, only a few that are even debatable. It would be Tyler, it would be DK, and Tyler didn't have a 1,000-yard season, so I don't think he's going to make it, and not with the receivers in the league. So you're looking at DK, you're looking at Spoon, and you're looking at maybe Big Cat. I think that's it. Yeah. I think those are the only 3 that are in the conversation of being in the top 100, and I don't even know where they would be. So Yeah, that's a little bit of a marker of, hey, man, these guys that have talent need to be unlocked. These guys that have been good have got a step to be great, and that is part of the reason you made the just enormous organizational changes you did this offseason.
Last year, you had Geno Smith, 77, Reek Woolen, 76.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think either of those are on the
Nope,
top
those
100
two guys
this year.
aren't going to make it. Mm-mm.
I'd put Devin Witherspoon as their highest.
I
Wherever
would too.
that ends. Wherever that ends up.
Yep, I would too. I just don't know if he created enough league-wide stir, right? Kind of miss a few games, missed kind of the start of the season. I don't know if the body of work for the totality of the league and whoever does vote on that, players or otherwise, is there. But yeah, it is going to be Spoon or DK more than likely finding themselves in the top 100.
Yeah, interesting stuff. That is Blue 88, and we have a while till that comes out, right? That's usually a late summer kind of thing. I know they build it up.
Training camps are kind of come up faster, though,
less
right?
than a month away.
Yes.
Veterans report in a month. They report July 23rd, so I guess you're right.
It's usually out before the rookies. It's usually out even a
here.
couple days before training camps kind of stir. So we're less than 3 weeks away for sure from some of that.
Do you think a rookie will make it? All these quarterbacks that have that hype. That would be bold, right? You can't put a guy who's never played.
Caleb's never played it down. Jay, you got to play it down in this league, son.
Byron Murphy, he's making my top 100.
Yeah.
No. All right. That is Blue 88. Good football talk there. But there's a lot more baseball to get back into. We'll talk about this lineup situation with the Mariners because the Marlins, they're about to throw out 3 left-handed pitchers. So what does that mean for the Mariners lineup? We'll get into that next. Mike Lefko and Brock Heard with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Rick Riz, one of the voices of the Mariners.
First time they've been in first place in June in 21 years. That's how good the season has been because of the starting pitching. They've been so consistent, Bump and Stacy, winning series after series after series. The offense is getting much better. In the month of June, the Mariners are 11-4. They've outscored their opponents 72-47. They're averaging almost 5 runs a game.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and smart home technology, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Tired of spending endless hours on lawn care? Switch to Synthetic Turf Northwest, the Northwest leader in quality synthetic turf products and professional installation. With 28 years experience, we're your trusted source in Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue. Ask about our 18-month no-interest financing and start enjoying a beautiful, low-maintenance lawn today. Say goodbye to stress and hello to a lush green oasis with Synthetic Turf Northwest. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com, 425-788-0718. Stop stressing about your lawn and start enjoying it.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate
today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
What do thousands of students that rely on free school lunches do during the summer? It's G. Scott here. Sunbucks is a SNAP program that provides free, healthy food when school is out. If you could use the help, simply fill out the form online to determine eligibility for $120 of free food per child. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to match their produce purchases as well as shop online. Learn more at hungerfreewashington.org/summer EBT.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The tax attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
This is Brock and Saul.
Brock Heward and Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
On Seattle Sports.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Saul.
It's been a fun Friday already. A lot of sunlight, a couple long days out there. Hopefully you're getting outside. Taking us with you, though, right, Brock? Listen on your walk, your morning jog, your morning stroll to go get
That's what
coffee.
the app is for, man. That app is amazing.
You can even take it into tub time. You know, put the phone.
Gotta be a little careful.
There.
Yeah, no question.
You know, get
so
that speaker
is that crazy thing up in Fremont? Is that this weekend then for the solstice?
That's tomorrow.
Oh, great. Awesome.
It's fun.
Oh, was that the nude bike ride?
Yeah, literally the solstice parade.
I worked at the art museum for a little while, the restaurant there, and
Uh-huh.
so there was like all these like old couples eating their lunch on a Saturday afternoon, like tourists from out of town, and all these nude people go biking by, and they're like, "What is that?"
Here comes Bill Belichick on his bike, like. Ugh.
There's a big fair, right? There's a festival. Yeah. Hey, Bill Belichick. Some find him attractive, Brock. So I don't know.
Yeah. Anywho.
Yeah, it's solstice.
So that's this weekend.
It's the
right?
midnight sun game tonight. We've talked about that.
How much better that video of Bill Belichick leaving the house would have been if you'd just seen him right away on a bicycle.
Yep. I guess Dad came home, right? I mean, that's kind of what happened in that deal, and he had to sneak out the back door. And,
Someday I got to hear the real story of that.
When the dad be we'll talk about it at 8:30. Wouldn't the dad be impressed?
We'll talk about that at 8:30.
Like
that'll
your
be a
daughter
good...
is dating the most accomplished
diehard
NFL
of a Patriots
coach.
fan he is.
Yeah, unless he's older than the dad. Then
He is
no.
older than the
Okay,
dad.
then no.
Absolutely.
Oh, way older.
Way
than that.
older.
He's a grandfather.
Could be the dad's dad.
He's
Yeah.
dad's dad.
Pretty
All right.
much.
That's Brock, you're spoiling ahead.
Sorry.
Like some on our show in the afternoon like to do. They like to talk about things coming up later, which will happen at 8:30. But we're talking about this Mariners-Marlins series. It's kind of I don't know what to make of this because it's one of those things again. Like when you play a bad team like the Mariners did with the White Sox, it's almost a no-win scenario. You have to win, but then, okay, you don't get credit for it because you won. And you're supposed to do that against a bad team. So the Marlins are terrible. They're the worst team in the National League, 25-49. But it'll be interesting to me, Brock, to see what the Mariners do with this lineup. because the Marlins are throwing out their 3 left-handed starters. 3 of them. That's the whole series. So this will be 4 games in a row that the Mariners face a lefty starter. And I don't know if this has become as big of an issue for you guys on your show, but fans pick at it, and it's an issue that has begun as a curiosity, and now every time the lineup comes out and it's a lot of right-handed hitters, you don't have a guy like Rojas who've been hot, or more recently, you don't have a guy like Luke Raley, who is a spark plug. He gets in there, he makes things happen. He had a great game in the win against Cleveland. He doesn't usually start against lefties. So now you look at this and you say, don't the Mariners just need to find a way to get these bats into the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't your right-handed lineup have to just do their job? I guess that would be how I would boil it down, Lefko. Like, okay, sure, you're supposed to beat these guys, but most importantly, your first-place team and play your game. Right? You have been dominant at home. One of the best teams in all of baseball at home. Passing on Tuesday with us, right? With the great one-liner, the great headliner about the house of, that this has become, I don't say that word because I don't roll my R's well, and it becomes really dangerous for me to say. Yeah.
You just got to enunciate.
I know. I've had some issues with that word in my past, though, so I try to avoid it when I can.
The house of where bad things happen. Okay.
And that's what it's been for people to come play your Seattle Mariners. On the road, you're under 500. So play your game. Take your home game out on the road. So get right. And in particular, your right-handed lineup, it is supposed to be really good. Mitch Garver mashes lefties, right? Dylan Moore mashes lefties. Locklear should mash lefties. Ty France should mash lefties. Like, this should actually, to me, be, other than, I think of Mitch Haniger, this should be a group that top to bottom gets after all 3 of these lefties. And I think that should be the mindset. It's just get your game right.
Well, they haven't, right? Isn't that the issue? That to this point, they haven't.
Yep.
So at what point do you have to say, we have analyzed these matchups and we know that we platoon these guys for a reason? That somewhere in the numbers, Luke Raley is much better just hitting against a right-handed pitcher. That Luke Raley, maybe he's at his best. We're seeing a good version of Luke Raley because he doesn't hit lefty pitching well. But with his numbers, and he's not getting a lot of lefty at bats, it's not like he's never batting against a lefty because he'll come in and then he'll face a reliever. The at bats are a lot fewer. The numbers are not drastically different. You're not seeing a wide array of this guy can't hit it at all.
Yes, okay, to point blank, I would love to see a Rojas or a Raley.
I just need to see him in here right now.
Yeah, I would. And these are 2 pitchers, the first 2 that are not that great.
Yeah.
Right. The first 2 guys, the guy on Sunday is, at least numbers wise, next level numbers and everything else. He's got some stuff that's going to make it really difficult. These first 2 guys are what, a 4.5 ERA, 5 ERA. Like, these are guys that you can get after. And whether it's Rojas or whether it's Raley, my hunch, my gut is one of them is going to get a shot, right? In maybe each game, right? Maybe tonight it's Raley and tomorrow it's Rojas, and you just say, yeah, I'm sorry, too hot hand, too important, too good on the base pass, too much of a disruptor when they get on the base pass, especially a Raley, that, we'll take our shot with them because, the right-handed side, as you said, and kind of evidenced, yesterday, the right-handed guys did not have a particularly great day.
It is especially jarring when you look and contrast it to that Cleveland team that we've talked a lot. The envy of a Mariners team that strikes a lot. Cleveland, the exact opposite of that. They get on base. They just make life miserable for opposing pitchers.
Just pressure.
When you see a guy like Stephen Kwan, how do you not just covet someone like that?
Yep.
That out of anyone, I was thinking about this after watching Kwan just extend that hit streak to 14 games and wreak his havoc at the top of the order there. I don't know if I've seen a more impressive opposing hitter this season against the Mariners than Stephen Kwan. And I was thinking, okay, Luis Robert, he hit his home runs, but that's about it. He struck out in key moments as well in that series.
Soto hit a couple bombs against you, right? Soto's got the same kind of eye.
He also had a couple games where he didn't hit at all.
Yep.
But when he hit, they won, and they split that series.
No, Kwan is just such a table setter. He's such an
especially
instigator.
What the Mariners need, right?
Yes.
Like, that's the exact deficiency that the Mariners need.
Yep. And JP can be some of that. Again, when JP gets going and when JP gets hot, and JP's going to be in the lineup, right? He is the lefty that you do trust and you have in there. And, I sent you guys kind of the numbers at the end of the game. You got a bunch of 2-aughts, right? A bunch, the majority of your lineups hitting 202, 205, 207, 202. Like, these guys in their track record tells you they're better than that. Their track record will tell you, as Scott says, is this weather warms, these bats are going to get going. And, I'm gonna lean in and trust some of that. And I would I feel like I say this on a lot of these road trips. I'd sure like this to be the road trip to get it going. And man, if there is a team to feast upon, if there is an opportunity, you would think these Marlins and then head into Tampa are a couple good series that you can win and have that road trip that's 500 plus. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and at this point, I think we've realized, right, that it's not style points. It's just get games. Build up that lead.
That's right.
Because you still have a 9-game division lead, and it doesn't matter at the end of the year if 6 of those wins came against the Marlins and the Rays, and if not a lot came against the Orioles and the Guardians. It'll matter in the postseason, but at this point, you just got to get to the postseason. So a Mariners team that has been so dominant at home has been a little up and down on the road. You know what? This could be a more of a critical series than we realize. It could be a good measuring stick for how this team handles adversity and bounces back on the road.
I got a question for you, and this is a legitimate one, not like the Julio one where I tricked you and played mind games with you. Which of the 5 in the rotation do you trust the most?
Yeah, that answer's evolved because before Wu had his second little arm injury that caused him to miss his start, I would have said him. I think right now, and just based on recent sample size, it's Logan Gilbert. Because of his pitch variety and because of the way he has found the ability to develop new pitches to keep hitters off balance, the way he goes about working with Cal to attack opposing offenses, I would say in this moment right now, I want Logan Gilbert starting in a must-win game.
Yeah, it does evolve a little bit, and Kirby certainly pushes that when he gets it going, and those two guys command. Just their command is so incredible. And I think even at a different level, command-wise, than a Luis Castillo, who you saw yesterday. Geez, find a changeup that he had to throw to all these lefties that unfortunately sat there and was a pretty meaty pitch for them to devour.
Yeah, so it is Kirby tonight. It'll be interesting to see how he goes without, we expect, Mitch Garver. Lineup obviously hasn't come out yet because they're playing a little bit later this afternoon, 4:10 first pitch, and it's 8:10, so the lineup's not out yet. But this looks like, Brock, it'll be the first start in the last 5 for George Kirby that he hasn't had Mitch Garver as his catcher. So his last 4 starts, it's been Garver, and they've gone really well.
Yep.
His last start before that against the Nationals was a tough one, coming off the Baltimore game that wasn't good. Since then, he's been locked in, so we'll see how that carries over. If it is as expected, Cal Raleigh back behind the dish.
Should you be concerned that G asked me, do you make hazard pay?
Me or you?
Does Lefko get hazard pay?
Oh.
That's what G asked me.
There's no way he said that. I think you're making that
100%.
I heard him say he
100% said that.
Okay. Well, that's not coming up next. We got a couple more segments before we get there. What is coming up next? A couple things you need to know. I guess I better learn whether I get hazard pay. So we'll investigate that as well. Some other things you need to know before the Mariners begin a series in Miami coming up as well. Mike Lefko and Brock Keyword with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Get the national perspective on the Mariners.
Swing and a miss and a slider, strike 3.
With Jeff Bassett, Tuesday mornings at 8:30.
The Mariners have arguably the best pitching staff in baseball. I think I'm probably taking the Mariners at the end of the day over every team in the American League right now.
And John Morosi, Thursdays at 5 p.m.
This is the team to beat in the division. And it's not just a hot take. That's what the numbers say, that they're the team to beat in the division.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco-bill and auto-pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Tired of a boring backyard? State Roofing's expert team can help you create the perfect deck before summer hits. We'll make sure your deck is the envy of the neighborhood. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com for a free estimate. That's stateroofing.com.
Febreze Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week. Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You want to talk about this, Brock? You really want to do this?
I do.
You really want to get into this?
Yeah, I got some questions.
All right. Well, I got answers.
The Brock and Salk Show is brought to you every day by Simply Seattle.
Summer's here, and it's time for you to put yourself in the game. But you don't have to do it alone. Come visit the incredible showroom and the all-star team at Toyota of Kirkland. With a large selection of over 70 brand new Tundras and Tacomas on the lot, you'll be able to test drive one and take it home the same day. And don't forget about that lifetime powertrain warranty. Now that's how you become the MVP. Come in today or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com. toyotaofkirkland.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and if you're getting ready for a fun night out, you know Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go and have a good time. They got Adam Carolla coming up Saturday, July 13th. You know Adam Carolla, comedian, actor, radio personality, television host, author, currently hosts the Adam Carolla Show, the Guinness Book of World Records for most downloaded podcast. And beforehand, go to Falls Buffet, back open, serving all your favorites. It is Seattle's closest casino, only 30 minutes from downtown, and online at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Mariners dropped the series to the Guardians, outscored 14-3 over the final 2 games in that loss. And Scott Service talked about it yesterday, that when they play a team like that, you just have to keep trying to find a way to get back into a game. They did for a little bit, and then the Guardians just ultimately too much to overcome.
Playing really good teams like this, every inning is so critical, and you can't let your guard down, whether it's 2 out, nobody on, or on the offensive side. You got to keep grinding. I thought we came out of the shoot. Our at-bats were awesome. First 3-4 innings, then he got in a little bit of a roll, and you look up, and he gets like a 6 or 7 pitch inning, and he's cruising. So every inning really needs to be a battle when you're playing against first-place clubs.
And you got to capitalize, right? When you get runners in scoring position, there were a couple times early in that game. Bliss came through just an absolute dart and missile off the left field wall. You got second and third. You take the lead at that point, 3-2, and you're like, okay, come on, just find a way. Come on, JP, just drive these two. And you give Luis a 5-2 lead, and, you do have Mooney available yesterday and Stanek available. Like, okay, man, just find a way to get this sucker, man. Win this series. You don't score. They come right back in the bottom of that inning, score 3, take the 5-3 lead, and you just could not dig back.
There is some positive injury news, though, Brock. What was kind of a confusing, maybe misinterpreted situation with Brian Wu, where it sounded like he said he didn't feel great physically after his start a couple nights ago. Adam Jude of the Seattle Times went and talked to him yesterday morning. Wu went through his normal post-start workout and said he was fine. Mm-hmm. And then Adam Jude, kind of his own words in parentheses after the quote from Wu, Adam said he thinks Brian was just frustrated and, had a tough outing his first start back. So it seems like there's no long-term concern there.
Yeah, you want routine. I think G's going to talk to you about that, Lefko, when it comes to dating and everything else. You want some routine in your life. And these pitchers, man, they are creatures of habit. You watch Logan Gilbert, you watch George Kirby, you watch Luis Castillo, you watch Bryce Miller. You know what they are? Creatures of habit every day over the course of the season. Their life is scripted. Right, they don't just pick up the ball every fifth day. There's the post for Luis. He's running the stairs today in Miami. It's what he does to get the lactic acid out of his legs and to build himself back up. So they want to be creatures of habit. And for Wu, I think that's what that was. It was frustration as much as anything else. Man, I'm trying to get my body, I'm trying to get this arm into the routine that when it is there, I know I can be a vital, vital cog in this machine.
Yeah, so first game against the Marlins tonight, 4:10 first pitch, 3 o'clock pregame coming your way on Seattle Sports.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
A couple important things happened around baseball last night. First of all, the Giants and Cardinals played a game at Rickwood Field, the oldest pro ballpark in the country. Brock, a place that you said you have driven by before when you were in Birmingham, the former home of the Birmingham Black Barons, the Negro Leagues. Really surreal scene there. And there were some poignant moments honoring Willie Mays. We talked about Reggie Jackson beforehand, just horrific stories that he told. I think it was important for everyone to hear. But in that moment, it was great to honor the past and everything that has happened in baseball, while also kind of thinking about a tough memory and a tough era in our country. But you did have the Cardinals beat the Giants there 6-5, and we talked about it. A cool moment broadcast-wise. Fox did a great job with that, with kind of paying honor to the game back in the 50s.
Yeah,
televising one half inning in black and white to give you a sense of what that
was
like.
And from the view that one camera that they had back then, and some of the graphics that looked exactly like it did in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s.
When there was a guy on base and they just had a side-by-side all of a sudden.
Yeah, just wild. Remember way back when during COVID, and maybe some of it was COVID, and we were all thirsting so desperately for sports to return, and they went back, did Fox and baseball to Field of Dreams, and Kevin Costner walking through the corn, and I'm thinking, man, this is some of the greatest baseball television I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was done so well. They try to repeat it. It's never as good. Kind of like the sequel, right? Like Major League 2. Just never as good as never as good as the original.
That felt personal, bro.
That did feel personal.
I
haven't seen it.
That last night was the original. That was so unbelievably well done from start to finish. The game was secondary to everything else. It was a celebration. It was a reminder. It was so many things that just grabbed you. It grabbed you over the course of the 4 hours of that entire broadcast. And Fox, job well done.
Yeah, no sequels have ever been better than the original, says Empire Strikes Back.
No, just number 4.
Right?
Just the 4th.
See?
Okay.
You have some that are better.
Push.
All right, number 3.
Push.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, Brock has started to sneak in a few little hints about what's to come, and these shots have not gone unnoticed. So we'll get ready. We'll get ready for 8:30. It's going to be a good conversation there. But one more thing you need to know, Brock, that Game 6, Stanley Cup Final, coming up tonight, a little bit later tonight. They dragged him back to Alberta, as we mentioned. So the Oilers will try to stave off elimination once again. Panthers have a 3-2 series lead. And then the Kraken's head coach, still coaching down in Coachella Valley, because they're in the Calder Cup Final. They lost Game 4 by a 3-2 score to Hershey. So it's tied 2-2 in the best-of-7 series. I think you need your coach up here, right? The NHL draft starts next week.
Yeah.
Next Friday.
Yeah, go win that sucker.
That'll be fun.
Go win that thing.
That's a couple
and it's
things
taken them a long time to drag those dudes back to Alberta.
Yeah, actually, that was... So people were complaining about that. It has been 3 months of NHL playoffs. 3 months.
Too much.
It is too much.
Too
the
long.
NBA, the NHL, when they do these best of 7 series, and then you know that they stagger it for TV. So the NHL and NBA were alternating nights.
Mm-hmm.
And then because the long travel from north of Fort Lauderdale all the way to Edmonton, they have built in a couple of off days on those travel days.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have here is this just meandering, drawn out process. And a couple of teams are annoyed about it because their season's going to end just days before the NHL draft. There is no break, no rest for these front offices.
Yeah, the NHL just kind of like the WNBA, as I've said, they just not. When you see it done at the very highest level, and the Shield and the NFL does it at the very highest level, I know you don't have to imitate everything they're doing, but just the organization, just the attention to detail, just the constant sense of urgency that you keep those eyeballs all the time. Yeah, you just don't feel that, certainly in the NHL with this long layoff to me.
Well, Brock, and that's everything you need to know. You talk about a long schedule, though. I think that's the fear, right, with the NFL. If you go past one more week and you push it back towards now mid to late February when you're playing that Super Bowl.
Yep.
All of a sudden, it's less rest. And
a lot of creep.
If this maybe it's some, say, a harebrained NFLPA proposal to change the offseason, who knows what that's going to mean? It's almost nonstop now.
Yep. You ever asked G to join you on the paddleboard?
The paddleboard? No, I don't really paddleboard with people.
Oh, you're just a solo act?
Yeah, because then here, I'll tell you why. We'll talk about it at 8:30. There are some reasons why a solo paddleboarding, unless you know the skill level of the person you're going with, is better. It's almost like hiking. You don't want to hike with someone who has a different skill level than you. Or skiing. Think about it. If you're trying to ski and someone's just getting up on the skis and then you're proficient, you got to
Really? You can't calm down? Like, if you're really skilled, you can't just slow it down and be a great friend to somebody that's learning?
It's like pickleball. You know, you don't want to play pickleball
Brock,
with someone who's terrible. Like
Brock, you're saying that like that's your strong
right,
suit.
Yeah,
you can't just slow it.
Like hard coaching, competitive.
Yeah, you can't just slow it down and be there for your buddy?
Well, maybe. Probably not, though. That's less fun. It's all about me, Brock. It's all about
your
me
fun? All
having
right.
fun.
Well, this ain't gonna be.
I think we're gonna have a fun segment.
This is why I go to bars alone too, Brock.
Is it?
Yeah,
People can't keep up with each other.
You don't have to deal with people. People are the worst. No, people are good. All right, we will talk about whatever Brock and G want to talk about. Some sports, maybe. Everything, certainly. It's coming up. It is a casual Friday here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Rick Riz, one of the voices of the Mariners.
First time they've been in first place in June in 21 years. That's how good the season has been because of the starting pitching. They've been so consistent, Bump and Stacy, winning series after series after series. The offense is getting much better. In the month of June, the Mariners are 11-4. They've outscored their opponents 72-47. They're averaging almost 5 runs a game.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for Window Nation. If you haven't had a chance to take advantage of their semi-annual sale, you are in luck because they've extended it. Get 50% off all windows with no interest for 5 years and a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate now. If your old windows are costing you too much for AC, that's a big deal. And now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save big. This offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Do you have a musty, damp, or wet basement? As the soil around your home becomes saturated, pressure pushes water through the tiniest of cracks and joints in your walls and floor. Moisture and water can not only damage your basement with mold and musty odors, it can also impact the health of your family. Matt Vey can install a custom-designed waterproofing system, transforming your basement into dry, healthy, usable space.
Do it the right way, the Matt Vey way. Rock built, rock solid.
Simply Seattle, presenting sponsor of the Brock and Salk Show, is your one-stop shop for all things Seattle sports. Official All-Star Game hats on sale today. Gear up as you vote for your favorite first-place Mariner. Use code SeattleSports15 at simplyseattle.com.
Lexus is electrified, and the first-ever RZ450E has the performance and range to get you where you need to go with the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology. Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings up to $17,000 lease cash on every RZ450E. Visit LexusofBellevue.com.
O'Brien.
On approval of credit through LFS, lease cash from Lexus available on select 2024 RZ styles. Must take delivery by July 1st, 2024. A documentary service fee up to $200 may be added to the purchase price or capitalized costs. See dealership for details.
On Saturday, July 6th, Jackson Smith and Jigba will host the Seattle All-Star Softball Classic, presented by Wade's Lifestyle at Chidi Stadium, featuring your favorite athletes and celebrities. Tickets start at just $25. Go to SeattleAllStarClassic.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
At State Roofing, we don't just install roofs, we build peace of mind. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing, and we stand firmly behind our work, protecting your investment for years to come. Backed by warranties that offer you protection, reliability, and trust long after the project. Take advantage of our zero down, zero payments, and zero interest today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com for a free estimate.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
Transform your outdoor space with Synthetic Turf Northwest, the Northwest's leader in synthetic turf solutions for 28 years, serving Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue. Specializing in residential backyard golf greens, custom play areas, and pet-friendly systems, we create stunning, low-maintenance landscapes for every need. Our artificial grass systems offer unmatched durability and beauty tailored to your lifestyle. Plus, ask about our 18-month no-interest financing. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com, 425-788-0718. Synthetic Turf Northwest, where expertise meets excellence.
You ready for a road trip? Because it's time for the Harnish Auto Family Road Trip Sales Event. Hey, Brock Hewitt here. In this month, the Harnish Auto Family is offering a chance to win a $500 road trip package from Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Test drive any vehicle and enter for your chance to win, no purchase necessary. You'll get an extra entry when you trade in or sell your vehicle. And if you service your vehicle during the event, you'll be entered into a giveaway for a sleek solo stove. Just stop by and take a test drive for your chance to win. HarnishAutoFamily.com. People matter. See dealership for details.
That is strikeout number 7 for George Kirby. Absolutely sensational.
A Mariners game at T-Mobile Park is the perfect place for a get-together. Whether it's a small family celebration or a party for your whole company, there's a suite or space perfect for your guests to enjoy 9 innings of great views, food, and drinks. You'll even impress Barbara from accounting. Don't let that stoic appearance fool you. There's a party animal under there. The more people you bring, the more you can save. So to earn your rep as the host with the most, visit Mariners.com.
He is safe at home. Julio stole home.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
The next Mariners homestand gets started with 2 can't-miss giveaways as the team takes on the Twins. On June 28th, the Mariners are debuting their first-ever City Connect bobblehead. The first 20,000 fans score a J.P. Crawford Trident bubble. Then on June 29th, the fun continues with Aloha shirts for the first 15,000 fans. Get tickets to both games at Mariners.com.
You're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
You got to give the people.
Is this your song? This is the intro?
Come on, man. What's good around this place, man? Good morning.
8:30 on a
Play
Friday.
dumb, Lefko. Don't play dumb like you don't know this is his song.
Lefko's like, is this your song? You remind me of somebody when you said that. Oh, is this your song?
Is that song?
No, it's not. But hey, good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be on the show. I'm sure that you guys want to talk Hawks Tua, which is the Seahawks. The Seahawks against with Tua coming to town. The Seahawks play against Tua week 3. here against, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't wait for that game, Miami Dolphins.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You think Brock has any idea what you're talking about?
Yes, I do. I'm on social media.
No.
He sent it to you?
No, what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the Hawks against Tua. Week 3 at Lumen Field.
So this is how this segment's going to go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
Next.
So.
Gee, he didn't even flinch at that one. Look at him.
I know.
Remember, man, he's bolstered. He's backed by Bob and Dave. Every day he works with
you
those
think
hardened souls.
You can't
know something that doesn't happen on the internet? Come on.
Speaking of
You
that,
can't walk that close to the line because you know Brock accidentally says inappropriate things. Like he just
That's
doesn't
true.
even
Yeah,
understand
that's
he's
true.
making innuendos.
That's true.
We got to say a little further.
You're right. Now, so here's what I want. Theirs was weird. By the way, shout out to everybody that listens at 8:30. You guys that listen at 8:30, you know the rules. We don't talk sports. And if you guys want me to talk sports, every time I see you guys out in public, you guys like, gee, don't talk sports, man. So some of you guys love it and some of you guys hate it, but that's cool. But hey, I got invited to the show here today, and that's weird because every time, like, Lefko, I've been knowing this dude for like 3 years, but Lefko don't really talk to me, man. So every time he like sees me in the building, there's like this awkwardness between us and stuff like that. He's never invited me to his show. You know what I mean? I know you're the producer of the, what is it called? Bob and Dave, right?
It's called Bob and Dave, yeah.
Yeah, you guys have never brought me on that show. Never. Weird. Odd. Not one invitation.
Are you in the building? For
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in the
here.
building. What
No,
y'all mean?
you're not
What
here
y'all
at
talking
2
about?
o'clock?
Oh, you guys have never seen me do a show at that
At
time?
2 o'clock? No.
I've done
Not
shows
since
over
I
there.
started.
Here's the thing.
You've been 9 to 12.
We got
since I
technology,
started.
bro. Y'all ain't never invited me to the show. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, because we don't invite anyone to the show.
Okay. Oh.
We don't invite anyone to the show.
I heard Baldy on your show.
Yeah. No, not on our show, on this show.
That was on this show. That was on this show.
No, we are a national kind of show. No offense to anyone in here.
Oh, you guys need a national experts?
Yeah, we just need those national experts. That's what happens.
All right, it's getting awkward. Let's go. What do you got?
Hey, G.
I thought you guys had stuff. Brock
G,
was
oh,
so
I do.
excited. Yeah,
No,
see,
G, I got the
Brock-
two things
Brock
I
was very
said.
excited to
I
talk to you.
texted you individually. Let's just dig into them first and foremost. Let's just get this going. Okay. I don't want. Let's do Stafford second. Let's just bring up Bill Belichick.
Okay.
How do you feel about 73? 73-year-old Bill?
72.
72?
72-year-old Bill.
72-year-old Bill with 24-year-old.
Yeah.
What's her name? Caitlin?
So
Jordan Hudson.
Okay,
Jamie?
let's do this first. Let's establish a guideline.
72 with 24-year-old Jordan.
24.
What do you think?
Okay. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. First, let's establish something first, okay? Right? Let's establish something first. I haven't done it yet. I have no experience with dating someone that young.
Yeah, I was saying, wait. You're like looking forward to doing that?
I didn't mean. I'm just trying to tell.
I get to my 70s.
I'm just trying to tell you guys. That
Your
I
wife
haven't
doesn't
done it.
listen to this segment, does she?
No, she does not.
Thank goodness.
So people wait, some of her coworkers do. So anyway, I've never done that, but I want to establish some guidelines that I know. It's like, oh, that's like dating your grandpa. Okay, whatever about that. Let's go to it. Bill Belichick, he's not doing anything illegal. Here he is. He's dating someone that's 24 years old. And for what I've heard, those that date younger, I've heard that it helps them stay younger. They're doing more things. They're working out more. They're more active. People that are older that date younger, they like that because it helps them stay younger. On the flip side of things, people are like, ew, I can't believe she's only wanting him for his money. And if you live in the state of Washington, where housing affordability is really tough, it's really tough to live here, there's a lot of women, there's a lot of people that are dating other people because they are okay financially. That's not a problem either. Brock, I have no problem with this. And you know what another good thing that is about dating an older man? You know what's good? They're very consistent. They go to bed around 8:30 at night. They wake up around 5 in the morning. You know where they're going to be. They've always got money in their pocket. And one thing about men, everybody listen to this. Ladies, fellas, listen to this. This is a true story. Before you say I do, you better say I can. And what I mean by that is this. Nothing messes with a man's mental more than lack of financial funds. When you are struggling financially as a man, a lot of times I can't speak for women, as a man, you feel kind of insecure. You feel less than. So a lot of times these men be walking around emotionally weak. Or sometimes they're very insecure. So when their money ain't right, their mind ain't right. So sometimes that's why these older men are usually more established. Some folks like to date that. But go ahead. What you got?
Brock,
He's 72.
His daughter is 40.
He's 72.
But that's
They're
the
in
thing.
Nantucket yesterday. They're showing he looks like the hired help, the old retired grandpa that's there carrying towels and boat carts to help the younger folks out. And he's just he looks just tired and haggard. And here she's 24.
That's disrespectful. I take no. See, that's disrespect for our seasoned brothers and sisters. When I call no. I'm for real. Y'all want to talk bad about folks that get 60s, 70s? Hey, I want to know what y'all gonna look like when you're in your 70s. You know what I mean?
Tired and haggard and old and nasty.
Hold on, man.
When you want someone who keeps you young,
Brock, are you known for judging people's bodies?
Yeah, every once in a while. I mean, I'm a scout. I got a scout's eye, G. That's what I do. And this makes zero sense. They get on his 6-ring, 7-ring, whatever, how many 6 rings boat. What the heck do they talk about?
8.
What do they even converse about?
Wait, but some of these. Wait, hold on. How about some of these folks in their 20s? What do they talk about? Some folks out here got no conversations in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s.
Let's keep it real. You're married. I'm married.
Yeah.
Justin is basically married.
Yes.
Okay, we got 2 singles in the building. All right. Mora and Lefko, 2 singles in the building.
2 singles. Okay.
Okay, Mora, Lefko, sliding scale. Lefko, you're 35. Yeah. How far are you sliding that scale back? You dating a 25?
There is no set.
You dating a 45?
It depends on the
You dating a
compatibility.
55?
You're just going to rattle off numbers till
You
you higher and higher,
65? Are we going to see Lefko out there on a paddleboard slowing down so his 65-year-old girlfriend can actually hang with him?
No, that's why.
And they're going to paddle up to Brady's boat and be like, "Hi, Brady."
Well, let's be real. It's much less common for men to date much older women. It happens.
Okay.
It's less common.
Okay. So
Lefko, what's your scale?
I don't have a scale.
You know, he doesn't have
I don't think I've sat and ever considered.
So
age is just a number, Brock.
We need to chill with this whole number. Numbers are subjective.
Right.
J-Lo is 54. Halle Berry, right? Angela Bassett's in her 60s. Can we stop with this age?
Okay.
Right? So if Lefko right now, by the way, Lefko, have you ever dated a black woman before?
I haven't dated a lot of people. Very casual with people. It's hard to communicate with people, yeah. Sometime in my going out on dates with people, yeah.
So you have dated a black woman?
I haven't dated a lot of people, like, seriously dated that considered dating.
Yeah, he's not a big dater. He's not a serial dater.
He's a friend. We need the final answer.
So you go on.
I've been on a date
with a black woman.
Yeah, like a date.
Where'd you guys go?
I mean, it wasn't in Seattle. It was
I
in
know,
the
but-
course of my life.
Right,
yeah.
but in the course of your life, on that date with the sister,
a bar for
you
drinks.
guys went to a bar?
Yeah.
Look, by the way, if you're listening
That
right now,
wasn't
I'm
good?
trying to get I'm trying to get to know you,
Yeah.
Mike. I don't know you.
On air in front of everyone, right? Uh-huh.
That's what we
certainly,
do.
Certainly wanted to get
That's
to
what
know
8:30
me.
Fridays
Right.
about. Mora,
Yeah.
sliding scale. Mora, sliding scale. You dating a 65-year-old? You dating Bill Belichick?
Well, yeah, Mora's
your
a
pops.
I
Your,
can't.
your
picture
pops in the
it.
Springs.
I'm not dating Bill Belichick specifically. No. I can't picture it. I feel like in my mind, I probably would think I'd maybe go like 10 years older, but I guess you never know if someone special comes along that wows you.
So I know my mama don't listen to this station either, so I can talk freely, okay? I want to share something with you guys. Let me tell you guys about my mom. My mom's 81 years old, right? And my mom and my dad, they split in the late 80s, okay? So you know how long ago that was.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is the biggest judge. She judges everybody's relationship. You know my mama's still single today at 81? Here's what I'm trying to say. We live in a society where the people that do the most judging are single. Everybody, relationships and who you're with is very subjective to you. Don't let anybody outside of your relationship. That's why.
How old are you, G? How old are you?
Man, come on, man.
How old are you? 40? 48?
I'm in that 40s.
Okay,
You know what I
so
mean?
you're in your 40s.
Yes.
So what happens if you fly back and you see mom? You hadn't talked to mom in a while, and all of a sudden you fly back to mom, and mom's got a 29-year-old shacking up. Your mom's now dating and falling in love with a 29-year-old dude. You good?
Yes. And can I
You're
tell you?
good.
Can I tell you why I'm good? I'm gonna tell you why I'm good. If my 81-year-old mama is with a 29-year-old man, that's going to for sure give my mama another 10 plus years on earth. You want to know why? Because she's having fun.
All right.
See, that's how you guys got to look at it. You got to look at big picture. Are you okay? How about you? Turn it around.
Yeah, you and I are going to disagree on this one. This one's just gross to me. And honestly, like after Brady left, I thought, okay, let's watch this Belichick thing. Let's watch life without Tom Brady and all the stabilizing factor that Brady was and the amazing player Brady was. And it kind of went off the rails on the football field, unfortunately for him. And then this one, this one loses me. I mean, you just lose me.
Before we move on, this is why this is losing
50
you.
years, Jim.
This is why
50 years.
This is why most people are upset with me, and you guys are listening, and you're like, "Gee, I can't believe you." You want to know why? Because right now we live in a society. Now, for the folks that are single right now, you know what I'm talking about. It's real out here. It's rough. You got all kinds of things going on. You got sneaky links. I'll explain that to you in a sec. You got situationships. You got folks exes. You got side pieces. Right? And like my grandmama used to say, baby, why buy the cow when you could have the milk for free? Mm-hmm. Today's dating scene is not like it used to be. Brock, do you know what sneaky links are?
It's brutal, and it's especially brutal for the amazing young women out there, right? Because there's just a lot of dirty, dirty dogs. And 72-year-olds are going to go sniffing around with a 24-year-old. Okay, that's enough of this. That's 10 minutes of that.
Okay.
Let's get to the other one.
Okay.
Because the other one also, not what you started the show with, not with the Seahawks and Tua coming to town week 3, not with that one.
This is more comfortable for
Yeah,
me.
the other one that was floating around social media yesterday, and Matthew Stafford's wife. What was it, a year ago, 2 years ago? She got herself in trouble on a podcast, and she's hanging with one of her girlfriends on some podcast. And, well, cut number 14, Maura, Mike, whoever wants to play this one for G, just fire it off. Here was Mrs. Stafford, Kelly, talking about them back in the day dating.
Wait, so was he trying to casually date and you were all in?
Yeah, girl. Anyways, long story short, it wasn't that cute of a relationship at first. I hated him. I loved him. I dated the backup to piss him off, which worked.
Yes.
He was like,
that'll do it.
He was the bad boy, too. Like, Matthew's so sweet and Southern gentleman and all that stuff. And the backup was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it upset him. So they lived in the same dorm because athletes lived in the same dorm, and he would see my car there. And so at one point, he, like, waited and followed me out and got in my car and wouldn't get out. And he was like,
this is so hot.
I was like, this is amazing. It's working.
Yeah.
I was get out of my car, and he was like, he's not right for you. And I was like, what? You can't tell me that.
All right, Brock.
Brock,
what do you want to say about that?
Brock, you go ahead.
Jay, you start. No, you start.
You brought it up.
I mean,
Jay,
so
you're
I'll
our guest.
start. Yeah, for sure.
You're our guest. This is your segment.
So
this is your segment. Yeah?
She does this. She's done it before, and she's done it again. Right now, she has all of America talking about this, and she's bringing light to that podcast. So one, she did her job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, she's able to share this, and she's just sharing freely. Now, some of us listening right now, you probably wouldn't be comfortable if your significant other told some of the details that really happened in your relationship. But let me just really
like
tell
me
you.
wearing my tight jeans and cowboy boots, purposely walking into class late, and in what class was that? Ecology, whatever it was, 101. No, Molly was in there. Like, yep.
So,
what's up, Molly?
so this
What's
is
up,
what.
girl?
So this is what this comes down
Me
to.
walking into Rob Post's office saying, Rob, what class is Molly Hills in? Brock, I can't tell you that.
Stalker?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Stalker.
You could put it on that little computer screen of yours back in the mid-'90s. You can walk out of the room, and you never told me what classes Molly Hills is in. So you by law, you didn't tell me. You just left it up on the screen.
And
so
now
then
you're
I could get in all the same
Kelly
classes she was in.
And you're going to judge Kelly.
Wow.
I ain't
Wassel. What a creep.
So
Sorry, wrong one.
The thing is, so here's the thing. First of all, your creep status on if you're a creep or if you're weird is usually based on your looks. So your attractiveness. Oh, Mario,
they did a How I Met Your Mother episode on this.
No, it's true. Yeah.
Dahmer Doppler.
Things that are considered creepy are definitely based on whether, if I think that person's attractive, then I kind of like this attention. If not, then oh my gosh. But also, sometimes you're creepy because you're not reading the cues that someone doesn't find you attractive.
We have Molly saying this, I think, in the system.
I would say creepy, maybe a little bit stalkerish at one point.
Yeah,
I mean, it was stalkerish.
But she liked it, so it worked.
Now, the thing is, Brock, if you weren't the good-looking man that you are, Molly probably would have called somebody and turned you in.
Yeah, it wasn't so good looking back then, G. You know,
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, clothing style was a mess.
Trying to be nice.
Quarterback of the football team.
But can we? But I want to just talk because the internet is flowing. Everybody's talking about this, and everybody, oh, I can't believe she did this.
Right.
Here's the truth. We men are emotionally soft. And what I mean by that is we sit there and we are judging Kelly. Oh, my goodness. But we be the first ones that do stuff, too. We just have a hard time when the shoe is on the other foot. All Kelly did was tell a story. If they're comfortable enough in their relationship for her to share that, then that should be fine. But people are upset. How dare she, right? Because
they're also running and jumping to some total conclusions here, like she was just immediately sleeping with this guy. And you don't know that.
Right.
I think that's totally unfair. You have no idea. Now, is she playing a little, like, hard to get? Was he goofing around? Was he not making great decisions? Hey, G, what do you think about them QBs down in the SEC? You know, do you think it's a little wild for them? You think, they get a little crazy, a little off the rails?
First of all, QBs get love at every conference. Feel me?
Ah, but the SEC now. That's the SEC. A little different down in the SEC.
I agree.
Yeah, we talk Jacob Eason. A little different down in the SEC.
Yeah.
Yes,
A little different in Alabama, Georgia,
Ole Miss,
Texas A&M,
Georgia.
Ole Miss,
Yeah,
Mississippi State,
different.
Florida. Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit different. But again, are we judging? Lefko, let's give this for you. Are you judging Kelly?
I wasn't judging her at all.
Really?
It's college kids. Come on, you know people are crazy in college.
Exactly. If you've been to college, then you know.
Let them have their fun.
But again,
Brock, you've been to college.
Society, we are very uncomfortable with women telling these stories. Men tell these stories all the time. Men tell it to their buddies. When you're on a golf course, you tell barbershop, you tell all these stories. But if women tell a story, oh my gosh, pearls clutched, right? So that's really the big thing about this. Like, leave Kelly alone.
Leave Kelly alone. Leave Kelly alone. I'm with you on that one. Bill Belichick, date someone near your age. I mean, at least 20 years near your age, for goodness sakes.
Oh, my.
24 years old, Bill? Oh.
Okay.
And you know he takes his shirt off on the Six Rings boat, and she's like, ew.
Okay, so
skin tags and sag.
We are still on this one.
It's like my grandpa.
We'll go back. Let's establish something. Let's go around the horn. What age would she have to be?
So we are back on this.
Yes, we are back.
Yeah.
What age would she have to be for everyone to feel comfortable about Bill Belichick dating her? What age?
There's no consensus answer there. That's going to be a different sliding scale for everyone.
I know.
I don't know, maybe the next generation down. You know, it's one thing in estate planning to skip a generation. That's pretty good.
I'll give an easy answer.
But to have to skip a generation?
You would say
older
what?
than his daughter.
I would say older than his daughter. Yeah.
Okay, but here's the truth. You guys know people, especially. I can't do that, but people are very judgmental. So usually it doesn't matter. If Bill Belichick came to the barbecue with a 42-year-old, people would judge that.
Okay,
if he
hold
came
on
to
one
the
second.
barbecue,
I'm going to call you out on this. Hold on one second. You look good, by the way. You look lean. You look mean. This carnivore diet has fit you.
Baby.
Golly. Yes. So you got a little extra pep in your step. So you're cooking your brisket tips, okay? You're down there in your home. It's a solstice. It's light till 10 o'clock. You're having the time of your life. You got some of those Seahawks guys come over. I don't know. Maybe Lawyer Malloy comes over. He played with Bill Belichick, and Lawyer's like, hey, G, man, this is really cool. I'm going to bring an old friend of mine. I'm not going to tell you who, but you're going to love it. And Bill Belichick walks into your house down there, and you got the whole thing cooking, and you have no idea. This has not hit the internet yet. And Bill Belichick walks in with 24-year-old Jordan. There ain't going to be one thought in your head other than, oh, this is great. I shall not judge. This is awesome. I'm happy for you, Bill. You're telling me the first thought bubble that pops out of G. Scott's head when Bill and 24-year-old Jordan walk through your door is not one of judgment. Be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to judge. And you know what I'm going to say? I see you, Bill. I see you, my boy. Because the thing is, I said it again. Here's a statement. Before you say I do, you need to say I can. Fellas that are listening right now to the show, even though you want us to talk sports, and we're not doing it. If you're listening to the show right now.
What are you talking about? We're talking about six-time Super Bowl champ, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, we are. You know this. When your money is not funny, life is good. You feel good. You have more confidence. Sometimes, right, when ladies go to, see the man that they want to date, it's not necessarily their money. A lot of times it's their aura, it's their energy, it's their confidence. Usually someone like Bill Belichick, they're in their 70, 72, or if he's 52 or 42, when their financial situation is solid, they have more confidence. Brock Heward, let's be real. Do you have more confidence today than you did when you went to go and
my freshman year at Haggett Hall, rocking it the same way. That's why, again, I rolled up the little T-shirt, wore the tight pants, went into class after doing squats, all that stuff. Did it impress Molly? No. Was it creepy? 100%. Now, I'd like to know what the text toy, Maura. Have you been on the text toy? Anybody on the text toy?
It's been hilarious.
It's been fantastic. Too much, too many to talk about.
Yeah.
They're
But what's the consensus?
It's
Are
not
we
like the
team? Are we
socks.
team
Not like
G
the
or are we
socks.
team Brock?
No, there's some people texting in. 360 texted in and says, I'm 40 and my wife is 27. 13 years difference. Sounds weird, but if I were 73, she would be 60, so that sounds normal. So everyone wants to always look at the age, like 72. Oh, you got grandkids, and when she was born, you was this. We could do this until we're blue in the face. The bottom line is man, there's different strokes for different folks.
Let love love.
Yes. Yes.
Love.
Do you guys? I mean,
what do you think Jordan's girlfriends are thinking? What do you think Jordan's mom and dad are thinking? What do you think?
Hopefully they're sports fans.
Huh?
Hopefully they're sports fans.
Okay. Brock, outside of the judgment part, can you give me one part that you keep, besides body shaming, besides Bill taking his shirt off, what part is just wrong to you?
What in the world do they talk about? What in the world do they have in common? What in the world do they have aligned for their life ahead? What in the world are they spending time for? My 21-year-old Haley, now engaged. She walks in with some 69-year-old guy? What are we even doing? What? That's Grandpa Mike. No.
I'll close with this. We'll close with this here. 360 sums it up well.
What's that?
Imagine Bill Belichick sliding into the DMs. Hey, if you turn 72 around, I'm 27. And there you go.
What is going on here?
Before I go, Mara, I need to know this from you.
Okay.
Is this bad? Is this whole Bill Belichick 24-year-old, is this bad?
I mean, you can do whatever you want. To me, it's a little gross. I'm sorry. I guess that's judgmental.
Thank you, Mara. Appreciate it.
I don't want my dad dating someone that's my age. Like, to me, that's weird. I don't want to date someone that's my dad's age.
But don't you want your dad happy? Don't you want your dad happy?
My dad is happy. He met someone his own age. My mom died 7 years ago. My dad met someone she's like 4 years younger, I think. And he's happy.
Yeah.
Entertaining. This is good. Well, I knew it would be predictably entertaining, and it was. So,
hey, you know what? If there's ever time you guys want entertainment on your show, invite me.
We'll keep that in mind. There he is. Walks off on that. There's G. Scott. Brock is cracking up. We'll see if he can get it together. You don't have to cough on air, Brock. I know you're overwhelmed by the moment there, but we will come back.
Imagine Bill's cough on that boat.
I think we'll talk some Seahawks coming up next. Maybe a little bit Mariners as well. It's Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Bump, we are smart, analytical people, you and I. We are not going to be idiots and buy into the hype, okay? But here's why the Mariners can win a World Series.
Weekdays, 10 to 2.
There is a path, there is a way with the way this team is constructed right now to get into the World Series, but you're not looking at that squad and say, yeah, we straight. You're not looking at the way the Yankees do, the way the Dodgers do. You got to go ahead and make something happen, man.
Read up on the latest news and opinions at seattlesports.com.
Tired of a boring backyard? Want to impress your neighbors and friends with a stunning outdoor space? State Roofing has just what you need. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Our expert team at State Roofing can help you create the perfect deck. From custom designs to flawless installation, we'll make sure your deck is the envy of the neighborhood. So why settle for a boring backyard when you can have the best? Contact us now to get started. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
The Bike Riders roars into theaters.
You're in.
Top critics call it absolutely electric.
Fists and knives. I like you guys.
Like Goodfellas on Harley Davidson's.
What do you want me to do? Burn it down?
Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, and Tom Hardy.
This is war.
The Bike Riders, written and directed by Jeff Nichols. Rated R, under 17 on admitted without parent. Only in theaters today.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar Wednesday, June 26th to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him Wednesday, June 26th for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The tax attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now's the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Well, we were all hoping for good news from the feds, but without any rate cut in sight, Americans are still paying crazy high rates on credit cards and other loans. Don't wait for things to get worse. If you're struggling, act now. Hey, this is Brock Ewart for my friends at Tila Mortgage. Contact Tila for information on their home equity line of credit, or HELOC. With a HELOC, you can consolidate high-interest bills into one lower, manageable payment while keeping your current low fixed-rate first mortgage. Tila's been helping Washingtonians consolidate debts for over 25 years, and they're experts at purchase and reverse mortgages, too. Take control of your finances and improve your monthly cash flow. Don't let debt payments control your life. Call Tila Mortgage today at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
This is Brock and Salk.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
On Seattle Sports.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
As promised, it's been an interesting Friday so far. Brock, I don't really know how to sum up what we just went through. And if it's not already entertaining enough, callers at 9:30.
Oh,
open up the phone lines. Wow. Okay.
What are we going to talk about at 9:30?
You thought we were off the rails before.
Uh-huh.
Open up the phones to callers, 866-979-3776, the Mac and Jack's text line. I think we're going to talk about the Mariners, right?
Yeah,
it's probably
I hope
the
so.
thing.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
we'll throw a question out there for you.
Can we get this back on the rails?
Yeah, what is the rail? The rails just disappeared completely. I mean, the rails were just pulled up, taken away, and disposed of.
You know what? I'll get it back on
We'll
the
make our
rails.
own track. We are carving our own path.
I'm known for awkward segues. I hadn't thought of something you said, 2G, in that segment, and then it hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is exactly right. The afternoon show, Wyman and Bob, not Bob and Dave, or whatever G said, Wyman and Bob, is more of a national show. You guys do bring on, and some of that's being in the afternoons, right? The morning show gets to react right away to everything emotionally that happens, and you guys do take, and with Bob's kind of national background and doing national radio and been different places and everything else, I think that makes some sense. And when you bring on, and Mostly comes on with you guys every week, it is kind of nice to get some of that national perspective. We get close to it, we get all emotional, we freak out with every win and every loss and everything else, and then you bring on some of the folks that you guys do in the afternoon. And, I thought Morosi laid it out really well yesterday, talking to you guys about this series, where these Mariners stand, right, in the pecking order of the American League. And I thought this was a pretty astute point from John.
Which one? There's a lot of them.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, okay.
The whole thing. I was
Here
just
we go.
going.
All right, I got you.
They're a good team that
He had
will be
so much
dangerous
insight.
in the postseason, but they are not an elite team on the level of the Yankees and the Orioles, or as we found this week, perhaps the Guardians as well. So I would put them in the second tier of the good to very good teams that will eventually be in the postseason, but they have their flaws.
Brock, I also was confused because I didn't know how John Morosi tied into the Seahawks. I know he has good insight. But we were going to talk Seahawks here, but we can get back to this.
I don't want to talk Seahawks.
We can get back to this
I want
Mariners
to talk
team.
Mariners. Yeah, I want to talk Mariners.
We're going to talk Mariners at 9:30 too.
Good. Well,
Okay.
that's callers.
All right.
Callers is at 9:30.
Now let's
so
go.
people can, if they want to talk Seahawks, then they can do that.
Okay,
I want to talk
so
about
on
these
that
Mariners.
point, what did you take away from that?
I think that is really fair. I love the fact that you're 77 games in. This is not 27, 37, 47. You're 5 games more in than you are Bill Belichick in age. So you kind of know who you are and what you are. And when you play, you play the best. This is what you always want. And I remember the Seahawks a few years back in a late game stretch. Like, this is awesome. You get to play the very best. You get a measuring stick. You don't get to play a flawed Angels team that's going to give the game away. You don't play a White Sox team that is horrific at scoring runs. You don't play some of these bad teams. Nope, you're playing more than likely who you're going to see in October. So here's your roster now. Here's their roster now. Here's your situation as it sits today. Here's their situation. I don't think, as Passan said to us the other day, all of these teams are going to sit on their hands. I don't think the Yankees are going to sit on their hands. I don't think Cleveland, even with some of their financial constraints, are going to sit on their hands. And this was the reality, 6 games with them, that you just can't sit on your hands. That your roster is currently constructed needs a little more.
Yeah, what's interesting, and I don't know if we've really kind of looked at every other team and their needs, because that's a lot. There are a lot of teams that are going to be out there, but it's something that I know Jeff Passan has talked about with you guys, and he did mention it again this week, something that John Morosi touched on as well, that with the expanded wild card that they've gone to since 2022, another team makes the playoffs, and now they just don't make it. They make it in a series. So they used to have that additional wild card. It was a game. But now when you have that series, that opportunity that the Mariners played in a couple years ago, you have more teams than ever, especially in the National League, thinking that they're contenders or that they can make a run. Look at the 2 teams last year who played in the World Series. Neither won their division. So you have that proof. You see that it works. And I think it's going to be a lot more difficult to get one of those names out there because you're competing with teams with infinite resources who are willing to spend and willing to give up everything. If you're the Dodgers, if you're the Braves, you're an absolute win now, win this year windows. So we have to maybe reassess our target of Luis Robert might be great. Pete Alonso, he's a big name. Vlad Guerrero Jr., he's a big name. We have to look beyond those 3.
Yes.
And I think the Mariners are well positioned to get pretty much anyone else, but they will have to, back to what we talked about, when in terms of giving up prospect capital, the Mariners, the reason they might have an edge over any of these other teams, if you're looking to fill out your roster, is their prospect capital.
That's right.
You want to tie it back to dating, Brock?
Yes.
If you are someone who's coveted, you're the White Sox, you're the Rays, you're going to be someone who has everyone coming and knocking on your door, the gentleman callers,
right?
You're going to go with someone who brings you the most flowers, right?
The Brady
most
Henderson
chocolate.
on his boat that has paddleboarder gals that just go up and knock on his boat
They
windows.
have
Yes.
people that come to them. They will have the ability to pick and choose.
Yep.
And so that's why the Mariners might have to give up a couple of these prospects. You can't just keep hoarding them forever.
Nope.
You develop the ones that you need the most, but they have done a fantastic job of getting to the point where they can leverage them. And that's where the Mariners might have the advantage over everyone else if you're talking about these guys from the Rays that we mentioned, or another name out there we haven't even talked about. It doesn't have to be Ryan McMahon. That was a proposal as well that was brought up by Jim Bowden. But someone who fills that need and makes this lineup better, it's going to cost something in terms of prospect value.
It is. And can you play that other Morosi cut where he talks specifically about Tampa Bay? Because the longer we get into this, the more we talk about it. We're 77 games in, by the way, a couple weeks from the All-Star game. Trade deadline there's nothing against making a trade now. There's nothing against, Mr. Isak Paredes making his way over after this series down in Tampa next week. Here was John Morosi kind of channeling the thought that I had, just based on the history between the Mariners and the Rays.
Pay very close attention to the team that right now is fourth in the American League East, which is a frequent trading partner of the Seattle Mariners over time, and that is the Tampa Bay Rays. Yandy Diaz, Isak Paredes, Randy Arozarena, especially Yandy Diaz, a pure bat-the-ball guy who I think could be available if the Rays stay in that fourth place position or fifth place position. The Rays are the potential seller that I'm watching most carefully as a possible fit for the Mariners, and I think that is where the Mariners are going to focus a lot of their deadline efforts between now and July 30th. Can they get some better contact hitting at almost any position on the diamond? That is their task number 1, 2, and probably 3 for Jerry Dipoto and Justin Hollander.
So you want to trade with the Rays?
Yeah, I think so. It's been reciprocal. There's equity between the two. There's trust developed that, it's been some win-wins you just did it this offseason as well. I mean, there is just that. I would think that makes it a little easier.
Well,
I think that phone call, you can get to, you can move the runners along a little bit faster than you do with somebody you don't have a relationship with.
And there was another point Morosi kind of brought up as well, that you're not necessarily looking, if you're the Mariners, at where these people play positionally.
Correct.
You are looking solely at how their bat impacts this lineup. Because right now, that's the deficiency. It's not, okay, well, we already have a glut of infielders. So, we have a couple first basemen. We have guys who like at third. No, it's improving this lineup, the contact hitting, the getting on base like we saw against the Guardians. So, yeah, you might see a guy like Yandy Diaz, who are on the surface. Where do you put him? Yeah,
right, there's a glut of first baseman. You got Locklear, you got France, you got
Doesn't matter. That's the key, is that you will find ways to get these guys the at-bats if you bring them in. So, yeah, I would think that maybe we weren't initially focused on, well, they have to improve at so-and-so position because the outfield
you need the
is an
skill
issue.
set
You
that
just need the bat.
complements your pitching. You need that skill set that just adds. You need that lineup that just pressurizes. You need those bats that just threaten. And, and some of those guys have had playoff experience too. Diaz reminds me a lot of a Santana. A couple years ago in that playoff.
Well, hopefully
remember?
better.
Yeah, but just a guy that Santana had some huge hits for you and big moments and elevated others and brought a calming effect. And then a Paredes, Isak there is that you want to talk about young and controllable. That again fits kind of the mode of what Jerry has done in the past, some of these moves. So, yeah, keep an eye on all of that. I don't think these Mariners are settled in. I don't think they're packing their bags saying, nope, we're good enough. We're 8.5 games up in this division. We feel great about things. That series in Cleveland, playing these tier, top-notch opponents, they know they need a little bit more in the tank when it comes to October.
All right, we're taking your calls at 9:30 about this Mariners team. Special guest edition of Ranked coming up at 9:45. We'll not reveal anything more about that until 9:45. But up next, Brock, a couple things you need to know about this division and this AL West, because it did change yesterday. So we'll get to that. It's Mike Lefko and Brock Hewitt with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports is your exclusive home for Mariners baseball. Every strikeout.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Bryce Miller, 7 scoreless today.
Every home run.
Get out the right, Brennan Mustard. It is grand salami time. A walk-off grand slam.
Every Mariners win.
And the Mariners win it in an amazing comeback here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Stream every game at seattlesports.com or on the Seattle Sports app. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
June is Men's Health Month, and we want to place a special emphasis on prostate cancer awareness and treatment. After skin cancers, prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among American men. Prostate cancer can be silent. It's important to get checked even if you have no symptoms. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish CyberKnife. It's one of the shortest and most effective, requiring only 5 treatment sessions. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
I call myself a confident backseat driver. Mom, brakes, please.
Gotcha.
But I'm less confident in the economy.
Same here, buddy.
Thankfully, Les Schwab Tires helps make sure that our safety never takes a backseat, even when we're watching our wallets.
Roll into summer. Save up to $200 instantly on a wide selection of tires and wheels. Les Schwab Tires. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. Details at leschwab.com/sale.
Kick off summer by checking out the incredible showroom at Toyota of Kirkland. With a wide selection of Camrys on the lot, including the brand new 2025 Hybrid Camry, along with the new inventory of Tundras and Tacomas. All with a lifetime powertrain warranty, you're in for a summer to remember. The unbeatable team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive, and you can take that car home the same day. Get your summer groove on at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Suit up in your sweetest stars and stripes for July 4th weekend at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners are celebrating with a post-game fireworks show on Wednesday, July 3rd, presented by T-Mobile. America's pastime and fireworks? It's a patriotic palooza at the park when 2 of the AL's best, the Orioles and Mariners, square off at 7:10.
He struck him out! What a night, George Kirby! A dozen punch-outs.
Catch 2 great shows for the price of one. Mariners baseball and a fireworks spectacular featuring a dazzling display of red, white, and Mariners blue. Visit Mariners.com to get your tickets and check out all the action coming to T-Mobile Park this summer. Be here for a 3-game weekend series versus the Blue Jays July 5th through 7th. And more fireworks nights, including the T-Mobile Park 25th anniversary show on July 19th. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here, and I want to introduce you to something that was new to me and probably new to a lot of homeowners out there, a metal roof. Now, the first thing I thought of, is it loud when it rains? I had no idea a metal roof was even an option until my most recent meeting with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing. And like Anthony usually does, he carefully explained a metal roof does not make noise when it rains, and metal roofs have a lifespan of about 40 years, double the traditional roof. Metal roofs are more eco-friendly and can be made in any color to match your home. Anthony also told me he's seeing a huge push in the market for metal roofing, and Asset Roofing is meeting the demand. They create each metal roof at their headquarters, custom to each job. That allows them to offer metal roofs with up to a 30% discount over their competitors. Reach out to Asset Roofing about a metal roof for your home. AssetRoofingCo.com. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's ultimate speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY, and I want to talk to you about the importance of when you hire a lawyer. Some people delay, and that's a mistake. Here's why. When you go before the judge at your first appearance, bail is usually set.
Order in the court.
It may be the only chance you have to address that bail. You're going to want aggressive counsel, arguing for the lowest amount possible, or release with no bail at all. You want someone who knows you, a private lawyer who's going to fight. 1-800-DUI-AWAY. If your bail is set too high, you may be stuck in jail, or you may have to pay an expensive bail bondsman. When you're out, you need a trustworthy lawyer that can help put this whole ordeal behind you. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com to schedule your free consultation for any criminal offense. You wouldn't go into surgery without a doctor.
Scalpel.
So don't go without 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
The Mariners begin a series in Miami this afternoon, 4:10 first pitch, 3 o'clock pregame begins right here on Seattle Sports. Brock Marlins are throwing 3 lefties this weekend, and it'll be George Kirby getting the ball today for the M's, Logan Gilbert on Saturday, Bryce Miller on Sunday. The kind of unusual 4:10, 1:10, then 10:40 a.m. first pitches. So that's the news on those 3 starters. Then the Mariners got some pretty good injury news on 2 other starters, a guy down in AAA, Emerson Hancock, who left his start early on Wednesday, kind of grimace, grabbed towards his back. It sounds like it's good news, though. So Rainier's broadcaster, Mike Curto, says that their acting manager, Eric Ferris, reports it was just the back stiffening up on Emerson Hancock. So good news there. And then Brian Wu, something came out after his start where he might have said he didn't feel great
he said
physically.
it, right? I mean, he said, I didn't feel great.
Well, I think there was maybe miscommunication on the question if they had asked it. Anyway, cleared up completely. The next day, Adam Jude yesterday talked to Wu, and Wu said, yeah, he's fine. He was just frustrated in the moment. And then Wu went through his normal post-start. So at least health-wise, everything seems good with the Mariners pitching.
Yeah, one thing the Mariners have done very well this year, and why they built up this cushion in the AL West and sitting here still 11 games over 500, is against bad teams, they take care of business. Right? They take 3 or 4 from the White Sox. They take care of the Rockies in Colorado. They've taken care of the A's, both home and away. They've taken care of the bad teams, the Angels, and sweeping them. Like, hey, man, let them make the mistakes. You be the one to pressurize them. You pitch, terrifically. Pitch a little bit better at home than they have on the road, and why they're sub 500 on the road. But history, at least this year, is telling us when it comes to these lesser rosters, these lesser teams, go take advantage of them. Go beat them. Go find a way to get back to 500 on this road trip. Win this series before you take on Tampa Bay and come on home.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, the Lakers have hired J.J. Redick to a 4-year contract to be the next head coach of one of the most visible positions in the NBA, despite having no previous head coaching experience. And Adrian Wojnarowski broke down why the Lakers chose Redick.
You could see them going outside of what we might consider the traditional box. College coach, an NBA former player who was working in TV who had never coached. They interviewed and talked with, a number of other candidates. But I think they ultimately saw the potential for upside that they thought was worth taking a little bit of a chance on. They see the high basketball IQ. They think he can communicate and reach players. But there's a lot more to coaching, practice plans, putting a staff together, managing a game. There's so much that goes into it. And when you haven't coached anywhere, no matter what kind of high-level mental player you were, no matter you're sitting courtside calling games, there's still going to be an adjustment.
How do you think this goes?
That's pretty remarkable, how long that was, 45 seconds without mentioning LeBron owning the Lakers. I mean, and making that decision. That is tremendous insight. JJ did play for some pretty highly esteemed coaches and programs, played at the highest level. You can look at this either way. You could say, well, look at Jeff Saturday. He got plugged in there. Yeah, kind of a in-season wackadoo situation. Or you could look at Steve Kerr, came out of the broadcast booth, and same thing. He didn't have a background. He didn't have years as an assistant on the bench. He had a lot of great years, a lot of championships, was around tremendous structure, had a high IQ, knew how to relate to people. And ultimately, they don't call it a manager in the NBA. They should. Instead of a head coach, they should do like baseball. He's a basketball manager, because that's what the NBA has become, is managing your personalities, managing your people, managing the attitudes on the bench, and that will be a work in progress for a first-timer.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, Brock, I was going to mention the Astros have now taken over second in the AL West, closed within 8 games. But there's some more newsy items happening that kind of relates to what you do in the fall. Oklahoma, according to Pete Thamel, ESPN's Pete Thamel, Oklahoma has agreed to a new 6-year contract for head coach Brent Venables. No financials yet, but Pete Thamel says it is a significant raise as Oklahoma begins its debut season in the SEC.
Wowzers. Yeah, that's a big step up. Brent Venables' record looks nothing like what Lincoln Riley did there for a decade, but he is a tremendous person. I'm going to talk about like a person, hiring people for like the character of the human being. I think that's why some of these decisions are made at times. And Brent, about as good a dude as you're going to ever find in the industry. And beloved there is a guy that played, grew up in Kansas and played in that part of the country. And yeah, good luck, Sooners. Going to be a big step up to the old SEC.
I was going to say, are we ready? I don't think I've truly comprehended what the new Big Ten and what new SEC will look like with Texas in the SEC, with Washington going to play Michigan and Ohio State on a regular basis.
It's weird. It's going to hit weird. Yep.
And Rutgers.
Yes. No. This
Minnesota.
This is going to hit exactly. It's going to hit. It kind of hit me last month. Lefko, I was down in LA for the Big Ten meetings. And was sitting out there at really one of my favorite resorts, Terranea Resort, where they had the events. And I was looking out at the lawn where they had this big function and dinner and speakers and everything else. I'm like, look at this. 18 teams. It's like a professional league. Like 18 teams here. There's Kirk Ferentz kicking it with Dan Lanning. And, now there's who's the guy at Rutgers? I'm looking at him right now. Old head coach, former NFL guy. There he is with Jed Fish. From Piscataway to Puyallup. Like, really?
Greg Schiano. He's back.
Schiano.
I didn't even know he was back.
Yeah, he's back at Rutgers.
Chop that wood, Brock.
What are we doing here? It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Hey, one more thing you need to know. This is a cool thing. Happens just once a year. Happens tonight. The Midnight Sun game. Summer Collegiate Baseball League in Alaska. The Alaska Gold Panners, now an independent, used to be in the Alaska Baseball League. They've played it in Fairbanks every year since 1960.
Very cool.
10:30 p.m. start. Not midnight anymore. You know how like Midnight Madness for college basketball used to be truly midnight?
True.
They had to move it up.
Yeah.
All right, they're moving it up a little bit. But tonight, 10:30, if you're near Fairbanks, you're heading on up there. They're playing the Seattle Studs. There's a local-ish tie. Sunset. What time is sunset? Can you guess? You put me on the spot.
I think you said it right. 12:50 a.m. or something ridiculous.
Yeah, 12:47 a.m.
That's awesome.
Tomorrow.
Awesome.
No, that's
everything you need to know. And why can I imagine? Why can I imagine? Why? I wonder why I could imagine. One, Justin Barnes leaving his favorite bar in Fremont and getting on his scooter with the stuffed rabbit and driving through British Columbia, through the Yukon Territory, up to Fairbanks, Alaska, to watch that game one day. Why could I imagine that, Justin?
I think he's going right now. Brock, he's not in the room.
So he's out.
He took off. Like Justin, after I mentioned that to him the first time.
He's not going to make it on his scooter. Not going to make it in time. Let me tell you. He can make a flight, but he's not making it with his scooter for sure.
Alaska is far. And I know that's an obvious statement. But I truly studied it up yesterday when I wanted to see just how I wanted to see the furthest reaches of Alaska, how late it stays light. And then I realized, it's fully up there where even Canada doesn't label its territory.
Sure.
You got Canada. And then you got the northern part, and they just say Northwest territories.
Right. Northwest
We're not
territories.
Even civilizing these, and that's where Alaska is.
That's so good.
So it's a
dude. Someday when you win the lottery or you marry, some sugar woman, and you've got gazillions in your bank, and you can take your paddleboard. Seriously, you can do a fundraiser. You could take you should do a fundraiser, a 3-month fundraiser, where you take your paddleboard from whatever, Lake Union through the locks all the way up to Alaska.
Now that is some intense paddleboarding.
You should do it.
All right.
In the summertime.
Well, let's solicit donations up next. We're taking your calls. We're not on that. Pretty much everything else. So we're taking your calls here. 866-979-3776. I guess what? Open? Like truly any topic?
I mean, everything is open. Like Bill and Jordan dating. It's an open relationship. 866-979-3776 if you want to talk about that. I hope it's really Mariner driven. This is a first place Mariner team. First place, 8 games up in the American League West.
I do have a curiosity. I want to know what you think. You can call in about anything, but I want to know what you think for the Mariners, what they have to do to become a legitimate contender this season. Trade deadline, whether it's, as you mentioned, Brock, whether it's Julio getting better, whether it is adding someone. I want to know what they need to do. But yes, you can call in about anything. We'll take your calls next year. Mike Lefko, Brock Heward on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Rick Riz, one of the voices of the Mariners.
First time they've been in first place in June in 21 years. That's how good this season has been because of the starting pitching. They've been so consistent, Bump and Stacy, winning series after series after series. The offense is getting much better. In the month of June, the Mariners are 11-4. They've outscored their opponents 72-47. They're averaging almost 5 runs a game.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and summer in Western Washington, it means trips to the beach, summer barbecues, golfing, that vacation maybe you've been looking forward to. When you take pictures this summer, don't you want to look and feel your best? Well, Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help, and trust me, you can do it fast. I lost 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks. I lost 35 pounds overall after 8 weeks. There is time. What are you waiting for? Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consultation right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Here's what to expect. Safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss. No exercise, no pills, no injections or surgery. Eat real food, lose weight, look and feel your very best. That feeling is just on the other end of your 15-minute consultation. What's the secret? Call Eastside Weight Loss Clinic and they'll tell you. 425-588-0080 is the phone number, or go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. It worked for me, and I promise if you do it, it can work for you as well. eastsideweightlossclinic.com or 425-588-0080.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Player Spotlight.
Ever since I got here, I want to win a World Series in Seattle, and this city's starving for another winning team.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Discover the ultimate diamond buying experience. Unparalleled quality at unbeatable prices.
Hi, I'm Diamond Dave of Cantor Diamond. At our by appointment office, you'll receive truly personalized one-on-one service to your needs.
No high overhead of standalone stores or mall hours to pay for. We're direct diamond importers designing and manufacturing in-house, eliminating all the middlemen.
Stop overpaying at retail and enjoy serious savings on quality diamonds.
From the first consult to the final reveal, we guide you through every step, ensuring you get your dream diamond ring, necklace, or earrings without compromise.
Romantic proposals, anniversary splurges, or just because. Indulge in diamonds for less.
Call today for your private appointment for a dazzling diamond.
Call Diamond Dave at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at Cantor Diamond. That's at KANTOR Diamond.
Well, we were all hoping for good news from the feds, but without any rate cut in sight, Americans are still paying crazy high rates on credit cards and other loans. Don't wait for things to get worse. If you're struggling, act now. Hey, this is Brock Ewart for my friends at Tila Mortgage. Contact Tila for information on their home equity line of credit, or HELOC. With a HELOC, you can consolidate high-interest bills into one lower, manageable payment while keeping your current low fixed-rate first mortgage. Tila's been helping Washingtonians consolidate debts for over 25 years, and they're experts at purchase and reverse mortgages, too. Take control of your finances and improve your monthly cash flow. Don't let debt payments control your life. Call Tila Mortgage today at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
You're listening to Brock and Salk
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got a special edition of Ranked coming up at 9:45. Special guest edition of Ranked. Some would say they're all very special. But we want to get your calls right now. Mike Lefko, Brock Ewart with you. Call in 866-979-3776. We will go out to Drew in Tacoma first. Drew, what do you want to say about this Mariners Guardian series that just took place?
What's up, guys? Well, I wanted to throw you with a curveball and talk about how bad the Sounders have been. But I'll save you guys that. I'll talk about the Guardians, Mariners. I feel like there's been a lot of momentum loss, and I kind of want to get your opinion on, do you think this Mariners team is a little bit overrated right now? We're bottom 10 OPS, average, all of those stats, first in strikeouts. I know how good this pitching staff has been, but I think right now, maybe because of how big of a lead we have in the AL West, we're just a tad overrated. We really need to bat on the deadline.
Yeah, good stuff, Drew. I'll save the Sounders discussion for when Salk is back, so you guys can handle that one.
He loves that next Friday.
Yeah, of course. I cannot wait for Salk to have that question. No, it's a good point, Brock. It's something we've talked about, right, where I don't want to say overrated is the word, but it's the tiers. It's the Mariners being a good team and taking advantage of a division that is down 17-5 in the AL West, and that's perfectly good right now. But I think you might agree, not to speak for you as you're trying to multitask here, but against the best teams in the American League, because they have now played the Orioles and lost. They have played the Guardians twice and lost. He did pull off a split against the Yankees, but there is a clear difference between the best and then the Mariners.
Yeah, you're 11 games over 500, and typically when that happens, you look at a run differential, it is not plus 11. That's an anomaly. And as Passon said, that has a lot to do with your pitching and some of the flaws that you do have offensively. What I'm looking forward to in these next 6 games is go win these 2 series. Go win these 2 series. You're sitting there, and momentum loss, momentum in baseball, man, is next day's starting pitcher.
It really
is. It really is.
It was disheartening after I thought the Mariners would have momentum on Tuesday.
But you're 17 and 21 on the road. That's what you want to rectify. And I'm sure that is some of the messaging in the clubhouse with Scott, with the guys. Like, hey, man, we're one of the most dominant teams at home. Let's take our game on the road. Let's get this thing going. Let's win a couple series out here on the road, winnable series against the Marlins and the Rays, and start to see that number change. Because if you get to 500 or above 500 on the road, Lefko, you're going to be talking about a 90 to 95 win team. And that would be an enormous step forward.
That sounds good to me. That really does. We'll keep it going. We'll go out to Dan in Seattle. Dan, how's it going this morning?
Hey, it's great. Thanks for taking my call today.
Of course.
First off, I wanted to say there's no human that could paddleboard to Alaska, okay?
Yeah,
Once you hit the Pacific, once you hit the Pacific, you're done, man.
Bro, just go on the inside, like the cruise ships. Those cruise ships stay on the inside. You could find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Let's not bog down in semantics over this.
All right.
We'll
Go ahead,
scout it
Dan.
out later.
Continue.
How's it going? What do you want to talk about, Dan?
With the Mariners, we have just so many flaws in the back end of our bullpen. I know we need a bat, but you look at position-wise, we really don't have room for any kind of bat. I just don't see the position where we can bring in a bat. I think our biggest need is the back end of the bullpen. I really do. And that was evident yesterday when you saw Class A come in. I mean, he's just so money. I mean, Yeah, we got Munoz, but Munoz needs some help.
Yeah.
I realize we have help coming, but I really think that we need some help on the back end of the bullpen.
Well, Dan, from the beginning, this call has been very flawed. Thank you for your call. I do
we
appreciate it, but let me just simply go to Google. Paddleboard, Washington to Alaska. The solo paddleboard journey is the brainchild of Carl Kruger, of course, of Orcas Island, Washington. If that name sounds at all familiar, it should. It might be because Kruger is the first and so far the only person to complete the 750-mile race to Alaska from Port Townsend to Ketchikan. So, Dan, don't you dare tell me it's not possible. Mr. Kruger already did it.
425 says I would get eaten by an orca.
Yeah.
Probably.
No, you would not.
What
You would
about
be
Dan's
just
point
fine.
about bullpen help, though?
Well, the nice thing is there's some guy named Santos who is working his way back, who's going to go from an idea to fruition. I think maybe, who knows? We'll see with some rehab starts if they just hold off until after the trade or after the All-Star game for that or not. But that dude is there. And then there's a guy down in AA Arkansas by the name of Logan. Logan's been pretty good pitchers for the Mariners through the years. This Logan Evans guy, you're also transitioning to be one of those arms in the bullpen. So at least you do have some pieces there. Could you go and trade? Sure. And then you said this about, I don't know, an hour and a half ago when we talked about trades and prospects. You do not let your current roster, you do not let Ty Locklear, Ty France, Mitch Garver, even as great as Rojas has played, you don't let those guys get in the way of an impact bat.
Mm-hmm.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
You figure it out. And this is an organization with tremendous continuity, with 8 years on the job together, that moves pieces constantly around their 40-man roster. They will figure that out. So, yeah, you don't say, wow, we're good everywhere. We don't have room, because just on paper right now it may look that way, Dan. There's a figure out mode that if you can get an impact bat, you absolutely find a way.
Okay, well, let's stay along the lines of that trade talk. We'll go out to Scott in Redmond. Scott, how's it going this morning?
Good. How are you guys doing this morning?
We are doing well. What do you want to chime in with here today?
Well, I'm kind of on the same page, but here's a win-win situation. I think it should be a PR thing for the Mariner front office. They go out and get a bat. I want Guerrero. He plays third. He plays first. We need a bat that can protect Julio in the lineup, protect Cal Raleigh. He's a potential 30 home run guy, 100 RBIs, and you get him for a year and a half. But if you go out and make this move and it doesn't work, then the ownership says, hey, we tried. But if you don't do anything, and Houston and Texas, they're going to come. And if we fall and we do nothing, you're going to lose your fan base. And what puts money in the owner's pockets? Attendance, concessions, parking. So
Yeah, Scotty, I don't think they sit on their hands and do nothing. I really don't. Do they go all in? Can they go big? Can Vlad Guerrero Jr. be a legitimate possibility, a legitimate opportunity? I mean, John Schneider out there in Toronto, their GM, I would have to imagine, if you're the GM of the Toronto Blue Jays, over your dead body. Over my dead body is Bichette and Guerrero, two foundational difference-making just building blocks of my organization. Over my dead body, am I going to be the one to send him away? I don't. Maybe I'll be dead wrong on that, but I think that's a lot of fun talk. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, 5.5 out for the Blue Jays. So you're right. I don't know if you want to just wave the white flag, because that's your job on the line. So
that's right.
If you're that GM, you're going down swinging. You're trying everything you can, and you're not going through a rebuild. You might not be around for a rebuild.
That's
so
right.
It's tough to say. Guerrero would be a fun bat to bring in. I don't know how much third he's going to play. He would be your first baseman and then DH.
Yep.
So we've talked about the positional glut, how that might not matter, but it would be a swing certainly in saying this is a big name. It might not be the best way to, though, improve this lineup when you need to find that consistent on-base guy and find a couple of pieces, perhaps, in that lineup. So we'll keep it rolling here, and I think maybe a more reasoned take. We'll go out to Mike and Puyallup. Mike, how are you this morning?
I'm good, fellas. I'm not sure I'm going to be more reasoned. I'm tripping on that guy saying the Mariners are overrated. When's the last time you heard that? And secondly, it's not our fault the rest of the division sucks this year. Let's just keep going. Now the Guardians are good. That is not some humbling 2 out of 3. Give the Guardians credit. Yep. They can hit, man. So we'll see what happens with Miami and Tampa. I think we'll get right. But we're not that good on the road as we are at home. But the Guardians are good. When you act like the Mariners are scuffling, give Cleveland their due. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, Mike, I would
was
co-sign on that.
very recent. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the
Puyallup
call.
is rocking down there, as Puyallup normally does. Usually brings
A
it.
Mike from Puyallup, no
I
less.
know. It was
I was kind of curious. Coach Ewart told me Coach Ewart actually told me on his way to get donuts the other day at Happy Donuts, he actually listened to some of the show. So he's like, "Yeah, DK probably doesn't like you." I'm like, "Why? Why? I didn't say anything
He
personal."
said you wouldn't pay him.
Yeah, I said I wouldn't pay him. It's a professional opinion, Dad. Yeah, I'm not worried about any of that
Let's
stuff.
talk about another man's money, Brock.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah,
Yep.
count another man's pockets.
And by the way, part of the reason the division is bad is because you've stomped on their faces, right? You've beaten Texas 5 out of 6, and you've beaten Houston in your series. So part of the reason, and they also, I get it, haven't played great ball outside of the division as well. But yeah, don't poo-poo what the Mariners have done. This great 11 games above 500 they put themselves in. You just play the very best, and you play the Guardians and the Orioles, the very, very best in this American League, and you do see there's still some opportunities to add.
All right, we'll go out to Vancouver, and I think Aaron might have a story that relates to
Aaron, are you on a
Brock
paddleboard in Vancouver? What are you doing
Aaron,
right now?
how's it
buddy?
going?
Hey, good morning, brothers. God has given us a glorious morning. No, I'm in the Couve, Washington. I'm going to hit the Columbia River later today.
Nice.
I don't know about. Yeah, I don't know about paddleboarding, but I'm definitely going to cool off. Hey, listen, real quick before I get to my story, give G a quick shout out, and please let him know, on behalf of all the responsible males out there, Belichick needs to act his age. Come on.
Thank you, Aaron. That's great.
Come on.
Yeah,
Please,
awesome.
please let G know. All right,
Okay.
now, a quick story about my daughter and my wife. This is several years ago. My daughter, Abby, bless her heart, she was about the same age as Haley.
Mm-hmm.
And they were rolling around Auburn, where we used to live, up in North Puyallup.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was desperate for coffee. She either wasn't paying attention, or they didn't require signs back in the day.
Uh-huh.
And no joke, she pulls into this place.
Yep.
And she's just like, "Oh my gosh, I need to get something. I didn't have my coffee this morning." And my daughter was just like, "Okay, this is great." Pulls up, quickly realizes as soon as the window opens that there is a pretty much a half-dressed woman there. My daughter goes, "What's going on, Mom?" Because all of a sudden she hears my wife blurt out, "Oh my goodness, hello!" And then she speeds off without saying a word. And my daughter goes, "Mom, what happened? You didn't get your coffee." My wife says, "That place was so inappropriate, girl."
Oh, that was so good.
Oh my, so inappropriate. So inappropriate.
I'm not kidding you. That and ever since then, whenever we see something on TV, my kids, if it's questionable or anything else, we all say, "That's inappropriate. Turn the channel."
Oh, Aaron, you landed that story so phenomenally well. I mean, I was hoping that's where that story would ultimately land. So job well done. And I think we can all agree. I mean, Bill Belichick dating a 24-year-old play Haley. I mean, so inappropriate. Thank you. So inappropriate. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks,
Have
Aaron.
A great
Appreciate
weekend.
the call.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
Wow.
Enjoy
all
the
right.
Columbia.
All right,
so
let's get to we got time. We got time for one more. We'll go out to Scott in Ferndale. Scott, how are you this morning?
Final word, Scotty. Final word.
I'm good. Just want to add one thing to the Mariners trade story, and that is with the number of really high-end infielders that the Mariners have in their system right now, and maybe even Ford needs to be shipped to third base or something to get a spot if he's going to stay with the franchise long term.
Mm-hmm.
By this time next year, there's not enough spots at the top of their system for all those guys to play and be developed properly. So they're going to need to trade somebody to some value at some other position. So why not do it now when it can help you win a pennant?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Now, Emerson's a few years away.
Scott, appreciate
Celestine's a few years away. Cole Young, to your point, maybe next year. And
There's a logjam, though.
JP's not going anywhere in the middle of that defense. So, nope, that's a good point as well.
Yeah, great calls. Appreciate it. If we didn't get to you, blame Salk and Brock next week. Tell them you need to be first. But we have some important business to get to, Brock, because it is the final day. The final day at Seattle Sports for one Taylor Jacobs. So we are going to bring in Fresh himself for a little celebrity ranked.
Got a list? Time to put it in order.
Fred Dwumfor's house. Top five meals that I have ever had.
This is Ranked.
To be honest, that list was really biased.
Every morning at 9:45 on Brock and Salk.
Top 10 list. I'm not buying that.
Ranked.
Brock, I'm tearing up over here. Taylor Jacobs, after a decade, last day at Seattle Sports. How you feeling this morning?
It's bittersweet, for sure. I mean, I'm very much excited for the next opportunity, but like you said,
working here.
Decade here, a lot of friends, a lot of memories, and it's not something I just...
Has it really been a decade?
Yeah, 10 years. Crazy,
What?
huh?
I mean, for those of you that don't know, you would have heard Taylor. He produced the Justin and G show back in the day. You did Weekends with Lydia and Curtis.
Yep, Clayton, Danny David Moore.
Stories for days.
Stories for days.
And you do a lot of our social media.
Yes.
All the videos you see. Yep. All the great stuff you see on YouTube and pretty much everywhere else. So we're going to miss you immensely.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn off my mic and go cry in the corner. But
yes,
while
I'm going
I
to try
do
not
that,
to cry.
Thank you. I'll try not to. You still have more radio to do.
Oh, I know.
You're making final appearance, programming note, final appearance coming up with Stacy and Curtis at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
On Seattle Sports.
Yeah.
So tune into that.
Gotta hype it up.
But I have no idea what you're ranking. I want you to go.
So I sort of did top 5 things I've witnessed, sort of experienced, been a part of here at 710. Just the culmination of everything here. We'll start with a little honorable mention, just
because this
to be true to the segment.
He knows the game.
You got to make more upset just a little bit.
Yeah, you understand the assignment.
I mean, as long as it's not like 10 songs. I'm fine.
No, I actually don't have any songs. So sorry.
No sound, no songs.
Okay. One piece of sound. I told more about it. We'll play it a little bit later.
Okay. All right.
But honorable mention: the non-sports interviews that we got to be a part of here. We can't tell the story on air. It's a little non-PC. But when Charlie Murphy came to the studio, we had a fun experience doing that interview. The Entourage crew, Brock, you remember that? That was, I think, my first week working here.
How could I forget? Try to break that guy's face.
Yeah, and I mean, for those who, Brock really laid into that throw. I mean, really, even I saw it zip out of
Which
his
guy?
head.
Which Entourage? Main one? Or E? Okay.
Yeah, E. It was E.
Yeah.
So
He
I don't
deserved it.
He's a New York sports fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Obnoxious.
Yeah, and like Ice Cube, Tiffany Amber Thiessen is coming to the building. So getting to experience some of those things non-sports wise, so cool. Number 5 actually involves a man to my right here, Mike Lefko.
Wow, it's me.
All-Star game weekend. We're on the field. We're trying to gather guests. It's difficult, all right? There's lots of media. It's a madhouse. We had people helping us down there. Mike Lefko books Raul Ibanez. Fantastic. We love Raul. He's talking to the commissioner. This man interrupts the commissioner of baseball. He's like, "Excuse me, sir. Raul needs to come do this interview for me, please. I need to take him from you."
Commissioner of baseball or your scheduled slot with Wyman and Bob. I don't know what's more important.
So,
was it Manfred or Bud?
It was Manfred.
Last year.
It was last year at the All-Star
game.
Down on the field. It was bold. I mean, look, I thought I was bold asking Sierra for an interview when Russell and her first started dating. No, not bold. Lefko, commissioner, he takes the cake on that one.
Wow. I'm honored that made the list.
Number 4, for those who don't remember, I had a little segment called Hawks Live Gaming, where I got to play video games with a lot of these Seahawk players.
Who could forget?
So, I mean, a lot of people. Only about 900 people, I think, would probably remember, Brock. So,
who's the best gamer out of all of them?
The best gamer, surprisingly, Shaquem Griffin.
Wow.
Okay. And you would be like, wait a second.
Yes.
No, but at Fortnite, that guy threw down. There were multiple times he was stealing things from me in Fortnite. So he was really impressive. And then Dwayne Brown is really good at 2K. I was also very intimidated by him and was paying attention to the interview and kept running out of bounds. So if you watch that game, it's pretty embarrassing. It's still on YouTube.
Sir, you are large. And,
but even the fact that the Seahawks, that 710, that they were all open to this little nerd playing video games with some Seahawk players and being able to broadcast it, that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So I'm forever grateful for everyone there. NASA for helping out with that as well. Number 3 is a legend in the game. We all, anyone our age, grew up watching ESPN, loved the professor, and they loved everything he was about. And you just, there's one specific moment Fan Fiction Friday. You know, I'm back in that room, sitting next to Boy Howdy in that control room, and they ask him about a role playing.
Yeah.
If he was to do role playing, I think what his.
Lefko, have you heard this sound before?
Have you heard this, Lefko?
I think I might have.
Boy Howdy and I are in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We're taping some Above and Beyond podcasts.
Yep.
Boy Howdy comes on the road with me. Boy Howdy was in charge of Fan Fiction Friday, and the Vegas Golden Knights were a new thing. They were doing all their role-playing introductions and all of that, and Boy Howdy decided to go that direction, and John nearly died.
Yes. How you and Brock getting along? A role play group? What would
John, we're going to let you go. John, you got to go. Go get some water. That's enough.
To be a part of that in the background, I wasn't a part of it. I was literally just sitting back there. But to see it happen, God rest his soul, John Clayton, a literal legend. So to be able to produce his show, to work with him, you know, to get to experience some of that stuff, the relationship we had before he passed away, that was extremely special to me. So, yeah, it's I miss him, but
how about his fantasy camps? How about back down all the people that would come to the fantasy? It was extraordinary.
Yes, and just the reach of that ESPN Slayer commercial.
Yes. Oh.
People will never realize how that transcended sports. Truthfully, and I mean, people who like the people at Funko loved John Clayton. They're like, "What if we did a John Clayton Funko with the ponytail?"
Yeah.
It's like, it was so cool.
And he lead into it. He loved that.
No, he loved it. Yeah.
And he loves meatloaf.
Yeah, he loved the meatloaf. Number 2 involves the co-host of this show, convincing him to come to an esports competition. TI6, I believe, is the one we went to, down at the old Key Arena. Convincing, first of all, Salk to even come to something like this. And not only that, having him leave there be impressed, I think is one of the greatest things I got to be a part of. And having him be like, you know what? These guys and girls who sit in front of a computer screen and can play video games, they're impressive. They might not be, it might not be a sport, but still, I'm impressed nonetheless.
They're human beings too.
They're human beings too. They're just out here competing. You know what I mean? It's all about the competition.
For millions of dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
Right,
and number 1, try not to cry here, but the cliche answer is just being a part of all the stuff with all my friends, the friendships I've made, the family I've been able to build here. I'm extremely grateful. It's not lost on me. You can do anything in this world. And to spend time with me or the people here, we're extremely grateful to be in your cars, on your phones, wherever you may listen to us. So grateful for the people listening and the people in this building I consider family and friends forever that I'll take with me. So thank you for listening. Thank you to all the people here for allowing me to ramble and be that crazy, quirky, lanky weirdo who likes video games and soccer and all the other weird sports out there. Just extremely grateful and thankful.
It'll be really hard to replace you, Taylor.
Thank you. Yes.
Find an esports soccer connoisseur that
they don't make them like me anymore.
No, they don't, my brother. No, they don't.
I'm a one of one.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Yeah, and just everything from Brock's family and the relationships I've seen his kids grow up to now my kids and Curtis and Nasa Chobe, who works with the Seahawks now. I just have a lot of love for the people in this building and outside this building who have listened and had fun.
Greatest celebrity ranked ever, right there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Was it.
Thank you, guys.
Book it.
It's fantastic.
All right.
All right.
Done.
Thank you, Taylor.
Love you guys.
The greatest rank we've ever done.
Thank you.
Thanks to Fresh. Thank you, Taylor. That's a lot of fun. We will hug it out after this. Thanks to Gary Hill and G. Scott who joined us. Brock, talk to you next week. It's a lot of fun, man.
Yes,
We'll
we
see.
will.
We'll do it
One
again
more on Monday,
Brock,
baby.
Are you going to let Taylor say it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where for this day and for your final day in this building is the hay.
All right. It's in the barn. See you, everybody.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Bump, we are smart, analytical people, you and I. We are not going to be idiots and buy into the hype, okay? But here's why the Mariners can win a World Series.
Weekdays, 10 to 2.
There is a path, there is a way with the way this team is constructed right now to get into the World Series, but you're not looking at that squad and saying, yeah, we straight. You're not looking at the way the Yankees do, the way the Dodgers do. You got to go ahead and make something happen, man.
Read up on the latest news and opinions at seattlesports.com.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
On Saturday, July 6th, Jackson Smith and Jigba host the Seattle All-Star Softball Classic, presented by Waze Lifestyle at Chidi Stadium. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today. The Seattle All-Star Softball Classic features your favorite athletes and celebrities and benefits several local 501c3 organizations. So come out and support a great cause. Tickets start at just $25 with food, drink, fun, and games for the whole family. To buy tickets and for more information, visit SeattleAllStarClassic.com.
Lexus is electrified, and the first ever RZ450e has the performance and range to get you where you need to go with the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology. Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings up to $17,000